I was on Reddit this morning, just kind of kicking around some news, and they put up little interesting things now and again. They put up one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. It was a picture of 1 million mosquitoes in a ball. Did you see that?
I was going to literally bring that up.
I hate that. I hated it. I wanted to punch my computer screen. I hated it so much.
What it means is mosquitoes are back, and we live in Florida, and if you can't go in your backyard because you get attacked by mosquitoes and you're messing around with citronella candles and stuff, just get the mosquito Nick system. I mean, I have it in my yard.
Oh, I was able to take advantage of it while I was grilling up some ribs. I'll tell you what, if I'd done the same thing on my balcony, I'd have been eaten alive.
And it basically, I put the I'll call it a drum of mosquito repellent that it sits next to my pool equipment, and it has a high pressure hoses all around the back fence and around my roof line.
You can't even see it.
And it mists my backyard during peak mosquito times, and it's attached to an app on my phone, the Mosquito Nix app.
Can be remote controlled if you're going out there to grill like we were.
Yep, I can mist my backyard, and therefore I don't have to deal with mosquitoes. And the actual substance are organic, and it breaks down in like 10 seconds, so it doesn't stay around.
You've heard
safe.
all the ads we do. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, they've got small, like, portable systems that you could put in
Dude, I'm bringing
camping.
mine.
I'm
bringing. We're going camping this weekend. I'm not bringing the system because it's big. It actually looks really nice. It looks like a lantern. I'm just taking the canister out and putting the top on it, so I have like a little fogger myself.
Yep.
So when Maisie's complaining about mosquitoes, and trust me, she will, I can poof that, spray it all down. Boom, I'm good to go.
You could buy that the smaller system on tomanddan.com. It's in our merch section. But if you want the complete system and you want to be done with mosquitoes, it's mosquitonix.com. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. It's Valentine's Day, or about to be.
Yeah.
No, it is.
It is, yes, you're right. Because...
I hope you got something more than a Red Bull for Crystal this year.
Oh, I forgot. Does Indy, our guest, does she know that one of the marquee gifts that you got your wife for Valentine's Day was a red plastic bowl?
That was for her birthday.
Oh, an even larger occurrence, right?
And it was a bunch of things, and it was supposed to show that I was thoughtful and I knew a bunch of stuff about her.
I got you this bowl because it
she likes
holds
soup.
things. That's
She
what it
likes
was.
soup.
Yeah, she likes soup, and then I got her that 70s
B
show
is
DVD.
for bowl.
Oof.
And then I got her a picture frame with a dog bone, and then put Alina's picture in there.
I heart my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but everybody always
How
remembers
old
the
were
bowl.
you, 15?
Yeah, the Red Bull, the Red Bull story.
28.
I think. Okay, we have a guest here. We have Indy here who's going to make us some drinks. ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Indy, we love having you stop by. Did you know that Tom had purchased his wife a red plastic bowl for her birthday?
And it was not just that; it was a bunch of things.
But a red plastic bowl. Where, if your husband gave you a red plastic bowl, if you did she open it, or did you just hand her the bowl?
Yeah,
Did
you know he handed it.
You put the DVD and you put the other
a bow on
thing
top.
in the bowl, right?
Yeah, of
the
course.
bowl was the vessel to
basket.
deliver.
It was, I forgot how I presented it to her, but I think it was in a box with all the garbage in there.
just throw it in.
Yeah. And then I wrapped the
There's
box.
bowl in there somewhere.
Indy,
if you received a serious question, if you received a red plastic bowl from your husband, what would you say to him?
I think it's how he gives it to me. It's like it's depending on the way that.
So if he walks out nude, bowl in his head,
I do it. I do it like
Devo. He looks like Devo.
Justin Timberlake, D in a box.
Oh, my God.
2008.
Andy Samsberg. Am I right? All right. Let's get down to brass tacks.
So, Indy, you've been mixing, and you've got some. What are those tiny red apples?
There.
Here we go. Getting his fruit roll.
He's
You got
leaning
some
in this
strawberries.
Those are the biggest strawberries I've ever seen.
Hey, you're allowed to say it because you got strawberries.
So I don't know if they're organic. Basically, is what we're saying.
What is happening
full
right now?
hormones.
What does that mean? Dirty berries?
So, let's talk about just like mixing a drink for your significant other on Valentine's Day.
I've never done that. Do you know that I have never mixed a drink for a significant... that is a true story.
Really?
I have never...
Hold on, you've made Andrew like a Moscow Mule, I feel like, because you were into making those.
Make her own.
I made 2 Moscow Mules.
For yourself?
And I put one in front of her, and she takes a sip of it, and she's like a baby. And then I'm like, that's mine. That's exactly what I do. She's not a drinker, so any drink that I've been making has been typically for me. But man, a cocktail, I love a mixed drink.
Thank you, Andy. So,
all right, what do we got here?
Again, as we talk about this,
like Valentine's Day napkins.
So prepared.
We'll talk
this,
about the
guys.
drink and how to mix it, but we want to remind everybody to get all the ingredients at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Hashtag TDABC when you head by there and buy
Is it
your
good?
Yes.
Valentine's Day ingredients to make this cocktail.
What is that?
It's called 21 Seeds Love Potion.
21 Seeds Love Potion.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
That is delicious. And
I'm
it's not
hoping that it is because I kind of played around with the measurements due to
I like.
difficulties.
What's the tartness that I taste in there?
So it's you've got grapefruit or Valencia orange, 21 Seeds tequila. So that's going to be
good.
our base alcohol. Then we have Saint Germain liqueur and fresh lime juice and blueberries. So
Oh,
basically,
man.
you grab 5 blueberries, which I wash before we came.
Okay,
Just letting
all
you
right.
guys know I'm
5
not disgusting.
blueberries.
I wouldn't have minded, Indy. I'll eat anything that anybody gives me.
Yeah. I had a dinosaur
question.
chicken nugget fall on the floor of a mall one time, and I ate it.
Ooh.
I'm just giving her.
I scream at my son. My sons are like, well, you have to. Like, I'll give him an apple and like, you have to wash it first. And I'm like, oh, my wife indoctrinated them with washing all their fruits. I'm like, you don't need to wash your apple. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Eat the sticker while you're at it.
Yeah, why not?
And
the
then-
produce place, they wash it, right? That's what they do. That's their job. They're the
supposed
doctors.
to.
it goes through some conveyor belt. I've seen like Reading Rainbow.
Wow.
Yeah,
the water falls on the fruits as they shake it through.
When I'm over there I hear at Publix, I'm
The
picking
fake thunder.
Yeah, I hear the
Yeah.
fake thunder, and then they start misting. Publix is washing it. The plant is washing it. I'm sure some of the people that are picking the fruit are not urinating on it. It's fine. It's
yeah. Anyway,
It's fine.
so let's talk about this particular cocktail.
So I kind of pre-made them, but basically you're going to grab 5 blueberries, pour your tequila. It's 1.5 ounces of tequila. You muddle it. Then once it's muddled, you add your ice, an ounce of Saint Germain liqueur, and a tablespoon of obviously fresh lime juice. Shake it really well, and then you just strain it and serve.
Man, it is extremely good. 21 Seeds. I have never had that particular tequila before, but I got to tell you, it's really tasty. As a tequila man, like that's my favorite. That's my favorite liquor, and that's a good one. Where is that from?
Honestly, let's find out together because I am not.
It's delicious.
It's from Jalisco, Mexico, so it's where I'm from, Mexico.
There you go.
But it does have the Valencia orange in what I found out when it's made. So basically, they leave the orange peel so that when it's in the process of being made, it just all the essential oils of the orange get in the tequila, and it has that really nice like zesty flavor. But you still get the tequila punch.
Yeah.
Indy, let's talk Valentine's Day and what would you personally and like. When you're making a night for your partner, it's the most popular probably dinner night of the year, and I feel like everything is going to be booked, right? Because it even if it's not booked and you got it early enough, it's going to be
Slam packed.
slammed. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's not like you're going to be able to like wait to the day before and ring on down to Cheddar's and get a table.
And
that ain't going to happen.
And you may think to yourself, well, like, okay, it's going to be slammed, but who cares? Well, we're still like in a pandemic, and still I feel like people aren't as comfortable being in a super crowded area just from the past 2 years. Even if you don't care about getting coronavirus, you haven't
Just
done
out
it.
of
So it's
repetition.
Just,
Sure.
So it's like, man, there's a lot of people in here. Like, so, and then like that, if that adds any uncomfortability to the night, then it's kind of like, what are you doing it for? Like, why not just put together a night at the house or a date night at home or dinner?
That's
where
what
you,
I'm doing.
Where
Also,
you cook and
if you're
make
making
your own cocktail.
If you're making, let's say you want to make a bunch of these cocktails, it's safer. It just is.
Oh, yeah, you're already at home.
Yeah, you're already at home.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say, because
And you save money.
you did kind of make a joke about how, I'm skewing this. I left my jigger at home. I'm skewing this kind of thing on my own. I'm eyeballing it. But I got to tell you did a darn fine
Yeah,
job.
it
It
tastes
tastes
great.
really good. I like my drinks to be a little more on the, let's not cheap out on them. Let's put some tequila in it. It's a
Yeah,
tequila drink. That's a good drink.
And
Okay,
isn't it all part of the effort? Because
Yes.
that's all part of it. Like,
And I'm a sucker for anything with blueberries in it because I love blueberries.
But like making your own dinner or making your own drinks, you're putting effort into it, which is part of the gift to your partner.
You
right?
know I love that because
Or-
I love cooking.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that's all part of there's one thing about going out to dinner or buying drinks and like you're paying for it or whatever, but there's a lot more effort that goes into learning how to mix a drink properly and then presenting it and giving it and drinking it together, and like that would be all part of the night and the gift, right?
Yeah, well, like something that I kind of put this in the same category as for a while I wanted a real bar, not a bar that people come around, more like a bar cart for my home, because I kind of put it in the same category as certain things that I feel like men or women should always have, like a tailor or seamstress. I feel like you should have one of those.
Yeah.
Like you should know general manners and general etiquette when going out to a fancy dinner, and which cutlery to use while you're sitting at the table and normal table manners. But I do put bar cart in there. I kind of wanted mixing a drink for somebody like your wife or having a party and you mix somebody a drink is very, to me, old world, and I put it in that same category of I want to have this little cart with all of my liquors and all of my mixers together and all the little proper spoons and I don't know. There's something about that I feel like I'm at 45 now. I want a fancy, mid-century modern 60s style mirrored bar cart with beautiful things.
The mirror is a must.
I saw one. There's one down here, man. There's a mirrored bar cart down here in one of these antique stores, and I passed it. It's over there in the right up the street from Little Vietnam, and I saw the bar cart, and I think they want $3,000 for the. It's an original mid-century modern piece that's beautiful. But I don't know. I put it in the same category. What you do in mixing the drink and the presentation and the muddling and everything, I put it in the same categories. It's very
cooking food. Yeah.
It's I like the journey of it. I just think it's cool.
So I really, I lost my mic or the headphones. Sorry.
There you go.
I love it. I love making cocktails. It's funny you were saying I do not have a mid-century bar cart. I think it's an IKEA bar cart that I bought off of
but
Facebook
you have a bar cart.
Marketplace, but it has a mirror.
Yeah.
And it looks nice. I have all of my seltzers there, and everything is neatly organized by color because I have a thing with organizing.
Yeah, that's
things
what
by
I
color,
want.
But it looks so pretty at your house, and people like to go. They stare at it. They look at what I have in there, and I'm like, you should. I feel like it's the grown-up thing.
Yeah, I like it. What little I want I want the swizzles. I want the top of the shaker that has the spring on it. I don't even know what that is. Why is there a spring on that? What's that, spring loaded? What is that?
What?
I want all of that.
Why did alcohol storage adopt the mirror? Because it happens at bars all the time. There's a regular cart
make
or a
sure
food
no
cart.
one's dosing you.
There's got to be a reason why they're well, put a mirror on it. That means alcohol. Same thing with shelves.
I always thought
I
the
feel-
mirror behind the bar was to make it the illusion that they have more liquor back there than they actually do. I thought it was a depth perception
Is it
thing
a
for the
marketing
bar.
thing?
No, I thought it was to open up the bar. So when you're
I
looking,
thought it was so you could see the customers or whoever's
Yeah.
around.
in case
the
there was a
bartender.
shootout. Yes, of course. Paranoia. I'll be over here. Of course.
No, you're cleaning the bar, and you have a patron. You can see them behind
That's
you.
probably right.
They're trying to kill you. Look at that.
I had a legitimate reason, and you guys turned it into
That makes the most
paranoia.
sense. I have to say, Sam's make the most sense.
Thank you.
'Cause
I'm the only one with goddamn sense here.
You're constantly when you're bartending, you're constantly
Yeah, you move it
looking
around,
back, moving around, so it's easier to see the guests coming in. And,
So then they just they're like, oh, if the bottles are on the cart, put a mirror under it, because there's no reason for the mirror to be on the cart.
You're right.
I will say though, because I like candles, so I put candles in the bar cart, and the mirror reflects the light from the candle, and it just sets the mood.
See, it's
all about the mood.
You need one. You're close. His outdoor setup is pretty damn close. He's got a one refrigerator that he puts all his White Claw in, and he lines them up by color. So he'll have he'll have them all lined up. It looks really cool, though. You're right. There is something about the presentation of coming over there, and then you see it, and you're like, it's just better. You need a little. You have a cart. You have like a Margaritaville card or something, don't you? Or a
We did. I punted that because it got all
good
rusty.
choice. It was Margaritaville. Yeah.
So actually the answer is actually a combination of what I said and what you thought I was
it's
saying.
Paranoia Patron.
Yep, I said back in the day, bars could often be dangerous places, and the mirror was put there to ensure people would be aware if someone was trying to sneak up on them.
So
my
it was for paranoia.
No, you get this one. It was we don't get it. Yeah, you absolutely. You win.
And then it became synonymous with like
alcohol,
alcohol,
yeah.
and then it's like just put the mirror.
Have your own. Cause it's like having your own home bar. So then people just kind of adapted it. It looks like interesting.
That is wild.
sense.
That is really neat.
So the sugar covered strawberry, right? Like that's another Valentine's Day tradition.
Or chocolate covered.
Chocolate covered,
Yeah.
some sort of like sugar covered.
I've never
fruit.
seen these, and these are actually more intriguing to me
These
because
are drunken strawberries, which I hope we all have one.
I'm not
What
a
is
fan
that?
of the chocolate covered strawberry.
So-
but these I like. Is that a glaze? What is that?
It is. It's white chocolate. So sorry about that.
No, no. White chocolate is not chocolate.
White chocolate with 4 ounces of white chocolate Irish cream liqueur. So I don't know where the camera is, but
It's
this
right
thing-
on the liqueur and your strawberries.
This thing is absolutely amazing. So basically, you just add 4 ounces of this, half a cup of white chocolate, depending obviously on the ratio that you're making. You pop it in the microwave. It says about 30 seconds in our recipe. I need it to do a minute because I bought the wrong chocolate. So really, it's just you're kind of eyeballing it. You blend it, mix it in really well, and you pour it over. But the most important thing, which I forgot, hence the Prosecco that made me late, you have to soak these in Prosecco overnight. So then you get them out, you damp them, and then you put the glaze over. So it's the 4 ounces of this with the white chocolate, and then you pop it back. You can eat it, like dip it. I just put them in my fridge for a little bit longer so it stayed a little bit stickier, and
I
they're really
like
damn
that.
good.
Cool them up a little bit, and you're ready to roll.
How much alcohol can they absorb? I always
Those are
wondered that.
big strawberries too.
How much alcohol can I absorb? Is the
A
question.
lot.
Like when you're pouring the alcohol into the watermelon, like I poured a whole 750 milliliter in here, so that's exactly how much is in there.
I like it when
But-
they get out like medical tools. They're like hypodermic needles, and I'm like, oh, this is
Injecting it.
completely unnecessary.
I've done that with Grand Marnier with these, and then you fry them.
Oh, really? Okay, so but
you inject them and then fry them.
but this is
crazy.
The actual strawberry is just absorbing
Well,
the
can
alcohol.
I'll have one. Can I have one?
Yes, please.
All right, which one?
All right.
I'll just take this guy in the front. They're ooey gooey too. I like that. All right, I'm going in.
Damn.
I'm gonna grab one.
Okay.
Oh, it's gonna slip out of my fingers.
Oh my gosh.
Should you want more, there is more of the glaze there.
Well, that's the best thing I've ever had.
Yeah. That's really good. I mean, any sort of sugar-covered
Oh,
strawberry.
whoa, mine's got a little something in it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Let's see. I haven't had
Well, that's good.
I feel like this is a direct slap in Tom Brady's face.
This is like you didn't make the Super Bowl, and now we're gonna get strawberry.
Yeah, we made it worse for you. We poured chocolate and liquor inside.
Oh, those are delicious.
They're pretty good, actually.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that they had been altered really, other than the glaze. But yeah, you can taste a little bit in there. Oh, you guys are like mouse biting yours. I ate like mine like a big fat big fat sucker. I just threw it right in my mouth. You guys making me
Chungus.
I know. I just threw the whole thing in my mouth.
So Indy, when
That's great, Andrew.
when you're making these drinks at home for Valentine's Day, what's the proper amount to make that you say was not like too much? I mean, you because you make one drink and that is a good amount of work, but I feel like I could put it down pretty quick and then to make
Oh,
another
you mean
one.
like whip a couple up ahead of time?
Can you put it in
that's
a
good
pitcher?
idea. Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
No, I think she did. You did that once before with us. You made a pitcher, right, of
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I do the same at home.
So you just multiply the ingredients to make a bunch, and that way you could just pour it
Yeah,
in.
and usually, like, if it has ice, obviously just don't add the ice. You can chill it, but make sure that there's no ice in it because otherwise it's going to water it down.
Sure.
But then you just have like a nice little pitcher that you're refilling, or that's when you just have like a nice welcome, like your welcome drink, as if you were at a restaurant waiting for the bar. Switch to wine, switch to beer. I don't know. Pick your poison after that.
Yeah,
Could
there
be
you
a good
go.
option, but it's always just
I love it.
I think it's like a nice little touch to start the night out that way.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what's the etiquette?
You should do this before you go out to Jim Jeffries, right? Because you guys are going to Uber, right? Dude, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, you have everything you need on a platter to make the night perfect. You've already done the hard work. The hard work was you remembering to do the big thing, right? And you've already done that. You got the tickets to Jim Jeffries. You already know you guys are going out doing your thing.
Well, can we tell the real story about the Jim Jeffries? My wife won't hear this.
What's the real story?
Well, I remember I got the tickets, but I got them because my birthday is the day after Valentine's Day. So
you got it for yourself.
No, I saw Jim Jeffries is coming.
You didn't tell me the. I love that. I love how I'm supposed to. Can you tell them the real story? I'm like, I can tell them.
We
the
don't
story.
even know what it
I can
is.
tell them the real story you told me. I can't tell the one that's trapped in your mind.
And then so I saw it came out on the social media, and then it was like, oh, Jim Jeffries, February 11th. And I'm like, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm like a grown man. I have money. I'm gonna buy tickets because for years the radio. I don't know.
Well, why? I guess the other question I would ask is why are you telling this? Why not just
pretend?
I'm telling. So
he's drunk on these strawberries.
Yeah.
Really?
I said because I forget often that I could buy tickets to events. Like I've spent 10 years at the radio station.
You work hard. You make money. You work hard. You're a grown ass man.
It was always just free tickets to everything because the radio station always had free tickets.
You have free tickets to WrestleMania. Next thing you know, you're working a spotlight.
And then so I never paid for tickets, and so then after that, like I just can't ever buy tickets to anything because I'm so used to
Oh my God!
For free.
The chat room is roasting you sideways because for the last 2 weeks you've had me basically crapping on myself for not doing really anything for my wife for Valentine's Day and singing your praises, heralding you as a hero for getting these tickets and planning a fun night out with your wife. And now you're going to yank the cover off of it, and the whole thing was a lie.
And he's already told us that he's making her find the place to eat.
No, but
he's not even picking a place.
Well, she's too picky, so I can't. She's vegetarian, and I'll go to the meat house.
But you know she's a vegetarian, so you can.
Yeah, I don't know what restaurants have to offer. And then so they always vegetarian options.
We got lettuce.
I think they always want to get salad, green beans,
salad, water. We know those people, sure.
Anyway, so I see the tickets, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this, and then I'm gonna get it, and then I'll surprise Crystal with saying like, hey, we're going on a date.
Does she like Jim Jeffries?
I mean, she's watched it with me.
Oh my God. She doesn't even like
Here's the thing. Here's the real crazy.
I'm like, I'm going to buy myself a birthday present.
Yeah, she thinks they're going to see the ghost of Jim Varney.
And so then I got the tickets, and then basically
free tickets.
No, I bought them.
Okay.
I bought them.
All right. That counts.
I thought about reaching out to Dr. Phillips because I do have a hookup there.
You
and
do.
I was going
to reach out to him yesterday, but for an unrelated reason.
But I didn't this time. I'm like, you know what? Again, I'm a grown man. I make some money. I'll buy the tickets.
If I want Jim Jeffries tickets, I'm getting them.
And then I was like, 114. Freaked out. Or whatever they were. I was like, oh, God.
It's a stinger.
And then
the lettuce back.
Almost backed out and emailed them like, hey, well, promote this. Have you hook me up with some tickets?
You know what I like to do? I like to have it sitting in my cart, and they give you that 15-minute countdown, and I like to fire off the email to the person at Hard Rock or Dr. Phillips, and then I sit there and say, you have 15 minutes.
Then you'll buy them. Anyway, so I got them, and then in the last week, like Crystal was talking about, like planning out the weekend or whatever. So like 1 week ahead, that's a million years away. Anyway, so she's like on Friday, and then I was like, oh yeah, Friday, and then I'm like, hey, guess what? I got tickets. To a comedian, and then she goes, "Oh, you got tickets for a Valentine's Day date?" I'm like, "Yes."
Oh, okay.
So I still get the credit, because I was quick enough on my feet to just agree with what she said.
I'm with you. It counts,
and then it counts because then I switched my mind because yes, I did do it for Valentine's Day.
It's a pivot that only the Navy SEAL of disorganization can do. Right? I give you full credit. That is a Navy SEAL level pivot.
Totally forgot about Valentine's Day.
You said it right.
And then, so anyway, still get the credit. Forgot my whole point, but Indy.
That's good.
Andy, what do you think about this?
So,
How are you
I
taking
got
this?
it.
What do you think of Tom's decision to
came back.
lie to his wife about the ticket?
So now she knows about his Red Bull scenario.
Red
and-
Bull?
Red Bull.
Oh, Red Bull.
He's just not.
Oh,
he's not a great
he
husband.
wanted to be Red Bull, but he ended up with Red Bull.
Write this down. Energy drink named Red Bull. And the same exact
Sue, you crazy.
So, Indy,
Tom buying Red Bull.
this is the question I was going to ask. So, what is the, I guess,
She's just laughing at you the whole time. Like she's not even like listening to you.
is it acceptable to go out on a day around Valentine's Day and then give it the credit for Valentine's Day, or does it have to be
Like Valentine's
Day?
adjacent.
Or like on day of, like you have to celebrate
Yeah, 'cause it's
Valentine's
a Monday this year.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
it kind of sucks.
And then you go out the, so like going out over the weekend and then giving credit to, it's like, I feel like a Halloween, right? People have Halloween parties like 2 days before is the weekend.
I can't understand a word you're saying. Halloween, Valentine's. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I can't speak.
He's drunk.
It's the tequila.
I know a guy has one pumped up strawberry. He's lost his mind.
So what say you, Indy?
I think it's fine. I don't like. I'm pragmatic in that way, not about many things, but like, I mean, celebrating is celebrating.
You
Doesn't
don't
matter
seem
when.
very high maintenance at all to me. You seem very like roll with the punches, down for a good time, just kind of doing your thing.
I'm gonna tell my husband you said that.
Oh, he doesn't think that? Okay. No, but I mean,
no,
like,
I
like my
try to
wife's
be-
a planner. Like everything's going to be planned out. If it's not planned out, then she's got an auxiliary plan for it, and there's nothing can be spontaneous. Like I could never go to Andrea and be like, "Hey, I got us a ticket. We're going to fly to New York City tonight. Don't worry about Maisie. She's staying with your mom. We're going to go. We're going to have dinner. We're going to spend the day in the city, and we're going to fly back late that night." She'd never do that.
I just always grew up with like, if you make plans, God laughs at you. So I've just always like remembered that, and I'm like, whatever. Like, you plan it, but then if it doesn't come out, I mean, just enjoy it either way.
There you
Try
go,
to
Tom.
enjoy and look at
There you go.
best case scenario type of thing. I don't know.
Indy,
Enjoy your lettuce.
I have one last alcohol related question for you because like you made this particular drink with tequila, but we've used like vodka before,
We have.
rum before. How interchangeable are the actual alcohols with the recipe? Like,
you don't want a bourbon in this.
I was talking to
You know
him
what I
like,
mean?
I'm
a bourbon is that is very specific, but I
Some
mean, like
people
a
are
vodka
yeah.
is kind of similar. Like, could you? It seems like vodka and tequila are kind of interchangeable a little bit. Compared to the
that would be
rum.
your easiest
More so,
substitute.
yeah.
I
I've
think.
had different people try to. I had actually a guy email me who said, "Hey Dan, I know you like Negronis. I make this particular drink that's very much like a Negroni, except I use a whiskey in there. And I've had different drinks where they substitute,
Yeah.
like for the gin, a whiskey or something like that. I'm not a big fan of it. I usually, for me personally, I go a little bit like." If it is what it is, then give me that. I kind of like the traditional aspect of the drinks. But yeah, for this one, what could you use in place of tequila?
I would just do vodka.
Vodka.
Actually vodka and gin, because gin goes really good with Saint Germain.
Okay.
Also, like, I have a rule of thumb that I stick to the color of the alcohol, because like I would never put bourbon, scotch, anything in that. It's just, it would not go well at all. And then rum, it would be a little too sweet, but you could adjust how much lime juice you add, and that may work.
So rum is kind of like the blade of liquors. It can go with clear and brown.
It
It
is.
can get interchangeable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's also so sweet.
It is sweet.
So
Yeah.
you've got to be careful, and it's just about adjusting.
The
you know?
sickest I've ever been is on rum.
Oh, rum will mess you up.
Yeah.
We do have a question from the chat. Our buddy Norm, he's not really an alcohol drinker, but he wants to start getting into some cocktails.
Yeah.
But he wants something that's sweet, but that is also manly. Do you have any suggestions for that?
Sweet and manly.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point that Norm brings up as far as like saying a drink is girly or manly.
Right.
Like I never subscribe
gender
to
to it.
Like,
Yeah.
well,
Well,
because
like
We're
fruit-
drinking a
it's-
pink
it's-
drink
people
right
do
now.
it all
but
the
it's-
time with White Claw.
Yeah.
Every time I bring White Claw,
It's
like
so weird.
I brought White Claw to a poker game. It was Jimmy's poker game because he hangs out
Oh
with
my
you
God,
know
you're
who.
outing him?
No, it's like I brought some White Claw there. Everybody's making fun of me. They're like, "Oh, White Claw."
I got a White Claw here.
Got your tampon in?
Yeah, Don't show us your underwear when you sit down. And they were making fun of me. I'm like, what? I'll drink more of these and you'll have beers. I'm a bigger alcoholic than you are. That's why I'm drinking the White Claw.
Yeah, well, most of those.
Get out of here.
Like, you got a guy that's sitting there, like, making fun of me. He's drinking, like, what? A Coors Light. I got a White Claw Extreme. I'm blowing my shoes off. What are you doing? You're over there wasting time.
4.5%
I
over there.
literally have a Surge in my hand. I'm drinking a White Claw Surge, and I'm
8%.
blowing my pants off. What are you doing? It's going to take you 3 drinks to get where I'm at, dog.
You're drinking some.
You're not even on my level.
4.3 Bud Light.
You're not even on my level.
And you're sipping it. It stinks. Anyway,
call me when you want to play with the big dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you walk up and you got some sweet dark. If you got the dark blue cans, we're just talking about White Claw here. But if you walk up and you got Coors Lights, I'll slap your teeth. But if you walk up, you got the dark blue Surges. You're rocking some what is it, like a blood orange Surge? Give me 3 blood orange Surge and I'm dead.
What's girly about this? There's a bunch of alcohol in it. I'm getting drunker than you are. Like, oh, you're drinking a beer? I'm like, this is drunker than you.
Plus, I like the fact that I went a long way to do this. This is going to get me drunker, and there's 5 muddled blueberries in here. What did you do? You didn't muddle any blueberries. You did nothing.
Yeah.
It's straight up alcohol, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're getting your antioxidants on top of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's healthy too.
Norm, I would say like a lemon Collins. If you're into like, just be careful because they are so light. Like you'd barely
Lemon
feel
Collins.
the gin. Yeah, or not lemon. I said lemon Collins.
A lemon Collins.
Yeah,
I'm Lemon Collins. I'm the most sour attorney in town.
Tom Collins is what I meant to say. A Mai Tai is not terribly girly either.
Yeah,
and
I
if
like a
he's
Mai
just
Tai.
like if he's just starting and he likes sweet drinks, a Mai Tai is not terribly girly and it's sweet.
Yeah, like I remember girls in DeLand that like Stetson girls, if they weren't drinkers, they'd always get an amaretto sour.
Okay.
And I remember tasting one, and I was like, "This is garbage! Like, just get a beer. Like, that is nasty."
And by the way, any quote unquote girly drink, if you put a beach vibe to it, it's fine.
Kenny Chesney's been doing this for years. I mean, that guy, everything he sings
If
about,
you drink it on
how
the
he
beach, you're
dresses,
fine.
everything is for girls. But he's just like, "No, I'm a cowboy," and I'm like, "All right, I believe you. That's fine."
Because it's beach vibe, and then it goes back to the beach is a great equalizer of everything.
Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah. And
Sprinkle a little beach on it. It's cool.
Yeah, it could be as sweet as you want, pink, anything.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Andy.
You all right, buddy?
Don't say your name after that.
My God, you know what? You're going to end up in court. Lemon Collins is standing there. Your lawyer. My client is innocent.
Who's innocent, I'll tell you.
Why is he wearing a cape?
I can't believe I said that.
I can. We're drinking. we're eating Prosecco infused strawberries. We're making crazy tequila drink. Yeah, this is what we're supposed to do. I think we did it right, Andy. I think we did it right.
Again, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. If you're getting any of the ingredients we talked about, head by ABC.
I really like the 21 Seeds. That's
It's really good.
as a tequila man, I've never had.
Me
I've
neither.
heard of, but never tasted it. It's good. That is
it is
good
good.
stuff.
I think if you're also getting into tequila, but you're not there yet, they have other flavors too. They have like a pineapple. No, it's cucumber and like lime. I think
I've never heard
cucumber
of it.
infused. So they do have other flavors.
I've never heard
but
of infused tequila. I know they've had it, but I've always done like infused vodkas. But tequila's always been, and I believe there are more health benefits if you are a drinker.
Yes.
I believe tequila would be the supreme. Well, I mean, everything in moderation, but it is the most healthy of the liquors, I believe.
It's the sugar because it's made of the blue agave. However, if you're going to be drinking tequila, don't drink for health conscious reasons. Just stay out of the reposados because reposados have more sugar.
There you go.
So you want to stick to the like silver crystal, like just clear tequila.
Gotcha.
Found the infused one. It's cucumber jalapeno.
There you go.
What? Dude.
They also have a grapefruit hibiscus tequila.
That sounds great, too. I love grapefruit flavor.
And stay
That's why I
home
like
for
IPAs
Valentine's
so
Day
much.
and get your alcohol delivered from you from ABC.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
so convenient.
Yeah, let's get our plugs out of the way. Don't sleep on the
Yes.
vault, the deals that you can get, the coupons that you can use. Sometimes when you get deliveries, like I finally did it, Sam. And
so easy.
And when I did it, I just checked some extra boxes when I did delivery, and then they put some samples of stuff in there. So, like, I got a little bottle of the proprietary brand of the 1941 vodka. I was thinking of the show from Yellowstone. Sorry, the 1941. I got that in there. I got, and then I got some other thing. regardless, whatever promotions are running at the time, they'll throw in some samples. Sometimes you get like some little sneaky things in there, little prizes and little treats. But that was only on delivery, right? I
Yes.
believe so. Only on delivery.
Yeah, but we also have curbside, so like you can also order online, go and then you just call the store.
Yep.
Once you're there, they'll send you an email when it's ready for pickup. Obviously, you can always go if you're not really sure what to buy. Ask our experts. If you want more recipes, always visit our website because we have recipes, especially for Valentine's Day. There's also food recipes as well. So if you don't know what to cook, you can find a really, really good recipes there. So, that's another good resource. And we have YouTube. So if you're not sure how to create the cocktails, go to our YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
you do good videos on there.
Yeah.
Why do you get
There's a
so
lot of-
uncomfortable? They're good.
Because it's so cringy to watch them. Like, there's a couple that I'm just like, what were you thinking? Like,
No,
girl.
never watch back your content. I never. If I listen to the show, I'd never do this.
But we
for a
have
living.
to edit them. So,
Oh, you got to
like,
edit it yourself?
not myself, but we have to make sure that, like, there's certain things that they have to cut to speed it up. So just to make sure that the ingredients are there correctly, all of that. So
I
you're
think they're
like,
good. They're really good.
Oh, I'm like listening.
No,
to
you
them.
do a good job. You do a good job. Well,
We
hey,
have a lot coming up.
thanks so much for coming in and for
Thank
doing
you
this.
so much.
You do an awesome job, and we love having you. And is there anything else we need to plug for?
No, just hashtag TDABC when you go by ABC. Andy, thanks again for coming by. We'll talk next month about maybe some spring break and stuff.
I know what that means.
Let's give it spring.
We're all going to show up in bathing suits? Is that what-
Maybe next time you come in, we
got
can do
spring break.
we do a little Baywatch themed drink. How about that?
I want a little pool at here.
No.
Have you seen the new Pam and Tommy Rogan film?
I'm sure there's a beach that kind of thing,
Yeah.
like a Bahama Mama.
We actually, I'm
You're
gonna
my
plug it in.
Mama, Andy.
So I mean, there's a beach, the Mai Tai. We talked about Mai Tai.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. The blue. What is that?
You're my tie, Andy. Not anyone else's tie. My tie.
No, come on. Why would I say that? There's nothing way to make it awkward with him. You're making it awkward, but you're uncomfortable. You're going to go
I'm
back and
so
tell the
nervous.
bosses. Like, this happened to me at Clear Channel one time. And they brought me into a goddamn meeting. And I was like, I was just joking around. And then
He did get it.
No.
It was with Hooters.
because they told it was their fault because they said.
Whoa.
Whoa, where's Lemon Collins when you need him?
You know what? You need to take a moment. You need to chill out.
No, I'm just
You're scaring
trying
our
to
guests.
defend myself because
That's what Lemon Collins is for.
Goddamn Lemon Collins. He's at it again.
All right. So, sorry, Andy. I can't. Nobody can be professional around here.
Oh, we're not professionals.
It's because at the end of the day, we invite the lady from ABC to come by and make us these top quality drinks that we get drunk and we get crazy on the show. And then we're like, why did this happen? I know why it happened. It's a pretty easy equation.
All right. We'll see you next month, Indy. Thank you very much for coming by.
you.
Oh, my
And we'll.
Can I do
bye-bye.
a last minute
Oh
plug
yeah,
in?
sorry. Sorry, I should have asked you that. That's
Who's professional now?
yeah. That's all right.
Also, like the Super Bowl's the day before Valentine's Day.
Yes.
So, like, go and get your Valentine's Day and your Super Bowl stuff at ABC.
Yes, be prepared.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my God! I have tears coming out of my eyes. The chat room is destroyed. All right,
They're dying.
that's the sign of a good segment. I think we did it. We did a good job on that one.
By the way, that's a recipe for disaster, right? Like, how many dudes are going to be
Yeah, I didn't think
ultra
about that.
hungover?
Yeah.
Anyway, mad
Oh my
'cause
God, you're right.
They lost a bunch of money on the GD Bengals because they swore old Smoking Joe.
Yeah. Oh man, people are all going all in on him.
Joe Cool would win the Super Bowl, and then they all lost money. They're hungover, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh God, Valentine's!"
Yeah, it's definitely setting itself up. There are a couple times when like certain holidays land. Like I think the Super Bowl landed one time right before. Like I forget what it was, but it was like they said 70% of the U.S. workforce was like not at work or something. It was like
People take the day
crazy-
off. You know. Anyway, all right. Bye bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here. Hello, Sam.
Hi.
Do you know the natural pH balance of water?
No.
Neither do I.
Our lawyer's here. How you doing, Mo?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Injured on the go, just call Mo. Mo, we got a couple things to talk to you about. One being something we brought up on the show about Chris Kattan. And Daniel has been watching, what's the show?
Big
It's
Brother.
Celebrity Big Brother. Well, it's not just Big Brother.
Right.
It's Celebrity Big Brother. And I have not been watching it. I watched 2 episodes of it, and my wife and I, was about to say daughter, have sworn it off. We have sworn off the show. No more Celebrity Big Brother. It is garbage.
And you said when you were watching it, you noticed Chris Kattan is obviously like messed up in some way. Like he's been injured and now has a
he was
weird...
injured on the go, and I absolutely felt bad about it because I started to do that thing where you haven't seen somebody in a while and you don't know what they've been through, you don't know their journey at all, and then I started to kind of think with the show brain, and I'm like, oh, look at that, what happened to this guy? Look at this weirdo, like I kind of fell into that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hold on a second. You're a better person than that. Something's wrong here. Like, this isn't like drug abuse. This isn't like, not that matters, right? Like, but I think
looks injured.
Yeah, it looks like something is like, was he in a car accident? That was my first thought. And then I started looking it up, and me and the wife started digging in. And nobody really knew this. No one had ever told me this. I
hadn't heard the story.
Yeah, you and Sam, I don't think knew this,
I
but
didn't.
Chris Kattan was doing a sketch for Saturday Night Live or some variation of an NBC product.
It was SNL.
Yeah, and he was in a chair, like a rolly chair. He had gone to the props department and said, now this is what he says. He had gone to the props department prior to performing the sketch and said, this isn't looking right. I'd prefer if you guys would make X changes to it for me to feel more comfortable.
His lawyer told him to say that.
More than likely, that's what it sounds like. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. And then so he goes, changes were not made, performs the sketch, falls out of the chair, hits his head, and now he is a completely different human being. Remember the guy that would perform as Mango, Night of the Roxbury? I mean, you're talking about a guy whose main vehicle for comedy is his physicality, is how he can move and jump like that. When he's playing the Mango character, which I think is a half man, half monkey, it's a weird thing. He's like very like
physical,
super
comedian,
animated.
Yeah.
He can't do any of that. Like, it's gone. Like, he's a very stiff, fused kind of person now, a different man.
Now, we don't know the complete story, and I'm sure there's like his story. There's probably NBC's version of the story and stuff. But
Sam has a
Their
lot
stories,
of it.
there's no record of him ever being injured.
Boom.
Yeah.
And so there's.
But you can
That's a
watch
different story.
But you can watch the clip still on NBC's YouTube
because it was
page.
filmed and it was part
As a sketch that aired.
I mean, at the very least, can we pause for a second? At the very least, couldn't you pull the clip down? I mean,
Right? Out of respect.
Why
if
roll
you're not going to compensate
Why
him.
roll the clip? Why keep it up?
So
it's weird, right?
But this kind of leads me to a broader question, Mo, and the fact that obviously, like Chris Kattan is something happened to him. He got injured.
Yeah,
It's like,
he did.
he looks different.
Catastrophic injury.
Yeah, and Daniel said he can't do the same thing. So you could argue that this is the most catastrophic.
Multiple surgeries. This isn't just like, oh, I'm left like this. I'm pain free, but I'm just a different man. This is
5
I am
surgeries.
in pain all the time. 5 surgeries. NBC only paid for 2. Throwing that in there.
And then Mo, as you know, if you're a physical comedian and this is hindering your job and career,
He's a different human man.
then you can not only ask for but demand more compensation because you can make the argument that this has hindered his career for a lifetime, and because he was making and was famous, that you could put this figure at multi-millions. All right, if he was actually injured and then couldn't perform the same for a lifetime.
Well, you'd have to show, though, that NBC was negligent or liable for the injury first. So
That was the chair thing.
Possibly,
Yeah.
right? But he is a physical comedian, so there is some inherent risk there, just like there would be with a football player or something like that.
Gotcha.
That they could get injured. Now, if he's injured on the job, he can be entitled to workers' comp, which is basically they're going to pay for the medical bills because the injury occurred while on the job up to the limits of the workers' comp claim, essentially.
Gotcha.
But if he could show that they were negligent somehow, that like if what Dan's saying is true, that he went there and said, you need to do X, Y, and Z, and it was a faulty chair, and that led to the injury, then there may be some sort of negligence claim beyond that. It doesn't sound like that's ever happened. We probably know about if he brought a claim. It sounds like it was probably limited to the workers' comp at this point. They only paid for 2 surgeries. But, yeah, you have to show that they're liable somehow. Just because you got injured doesn't mean you get a bunch of money.
Gotcha. And so
it also, like, and this is where it makes the story super unfortunate. And I believe Sam's got the same article. He basically goes on to tell the tale of saw the chair, didn't like it, told the props department, no changes were made. I executed the stunt. I got injured. Then I waited a very long time before I did anything. And now I'm being told nothing can be done, right? Isn't that kind of the...
He said, like, Lorne Michaels agreed to, like, hey, we'll take care of
the
you
quote was,
under the table kind
I'll
of thing.
take care of it.
And
which
then,
makes it so sinister in my eyes. It seems just yuck.
And then they paid for 2 of the 5 surgeries, and then that was it. And then he never asked for any other kind of compensation.
Yeah, it seems like he's kind of in that weird, like, I don't want to
He was
ask,
too embarrassed, he said,
Yeah. So, like, with this whole story, Mo, like, what is your the best way to protect yourself, even if you're the type of person where, okay, you get hurt, it could have been your job's fault, and maybe there's a little bit of their fault, a little bit of your fault, but then you get hurt, and you're like, I don't think I'm that hurt. I think I'm fine. You try to brush it off. That's something I would do. It'd be like, it's not that bad. But is there something where, like, at least go to the doctor and get it on record that, if anything's wrong, get the x-ray and stuff. So at least you have that. And then if you do have that, how long can you go, like, could you wait to go back to ask them to pay for it, or, what's
and
the
this is a
statute of
great
limitations?
question, because many times I have been told you are the Chris Kattan of our program.
Yeah. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, you have to do an incident report with the employer to document it. So, NBC here is saying nobody ever told us about this when this happened. So you want to let them know of the injury. Kind of like when you fell off the ladder at Champ Sports.
They forced me to go get a CAT scan at the hospital, and I was like, I'm here longer than I would have been at work. And then that's when I realized.
And you're in a hospital, you can't just smoke cigarettes willy-nilly. You have to be inside the hospital.
Yep.
You can't be on the porch of your house huffing and puffing.
And then I'm like, I think I'm my own worst enemy. That's what I never learned.
But in the future, they'll be Kratom, and I'll do it. And it'll be great.
You'll talk to Kratom Cowboy.
They'll all see.
But yeah, notify the work, and then document any injuries. Go to the doctor, because here's the thing: people say to me all the time, they're like, "I'm hurt, I'm injured. This feels terrible." I go, well, go tell your doctor. Get medical documentation. Go get treatment for it. Just because you're telling me that you're injured does no good.
You're an attorney, Mo.
You have to go tell your doctor.
I heard
and
the
get
ads.
documentation.
Tom told me talk to Mo. He said, "Call Mo." I'm doing
Mo,
it.
okay, this is a good question. Can it be any doctor? Because I can talk to my weed doctor about anything, and they will write down anything.
Do I have a story? Oh man, my weed
to my heart. He weighs me.
weed doc. Oh man, it's Mo.
Will the court be like, get out of here with your weed doctor? Or will they be like, okay, he's a doctor.
I think my weed doctor is patient zero. We've been looking for, like, all the theories.
Doesn't believe him.
Yeah, I don't even want to say it. I started. She started, or he or she started saying things, and then I started just being like, stop saying things and just give me the weed, because everything you say is garbage. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. I feel better now.
So getting everything in documenting the doctor visit and making sure that they give you a scan or whatever it is, so that if anything is wrong, you at least have
it's just gathering knowledge, right? I mean,
if a case goes to court, you have to have evidence to prove your case. So you're laying out your evidence. You're notifying the person that you believe is liable for the claim. You're documenting the injuries by going to the medical doctor. Hopefully you take pictures and document and create as much evidence as possible through the process.
Mo, you're so right, but I hate it. I hate this because I had a variation of an altercation, not with me physically, but with my car. I got rear-ended like 3 weeks ago. And I hated the idea of, because my wife, obviously smarter than me, knows the proper process for things. I'm just like, well, I could just get this lady's insurance information. We're good to go. And my wife's like, no, you got to take pictures of everything now, and then call the cops, and you got to get an incident report.
The cops!
And that's what I said. That's what I said. I was like, I don't want the cops. I was like, I don't want to call the cops. I'm smoking weed at Dunkin' Donuts. I don't want to call the cops. I mean, it's because I'm going to have to show my card. And he's like, are you okay to drive? And I'm going to be like, no. Like, that's a joke. But no, none of that was happening. But no, I didn't want to. I wanted the path of least resistance. I wanted to think that, because I've always heard, I don't think I've ever been rear-ended. I'd always heard you could just, we could exchange info, we'll be cool, bro, and go about our day. And then my wife's like, no, she may not report it or what, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, so the big issue when you don't get a police report from an accident is then the other driver doesn't report it to their insurance company. You report it to yours. Your insurance company tries to contact them. They don't answer the phone for their insurance company. And then you basically have to make a choice of either coming out of pocket to pay the deductible to get it started, or you have to wait for the other insurance company to accept liability, which, if their insured's not cooperating, can take forever. So that's the frustration people get when they don't have an accident report, because if you have the accident report, your insurance company looks at it and says, okay, the other side's liable, they send it to the other insurance company, they accept liability, and it moves a lot faster. So
Do they have
north of the Okeechobee, you're good.
Yeah.
You go south, and you gotta
Different
wait.
ballgame.
Hey, they're not gonna cooperate.
It's true.
I know.
I was just surprised at how long it took. Like even waiting for, and this is the part that gets frustrating. This is not a knock on law enforcement, but it took a long time to get a cop. You know,
Yeah.
so it changes your entire morning. Like what
They're
could've-
wasting their time.
Well, and they're wasting mine, right? Like I felt kind of weird sitting there for 2 hours in the parking lot, literally doing nothing, just waiting for somebody with authority to come to me and say, like, I almost wish they'd had a drone. They could fly over and then sit on my car, and I'm talking like I could talk virtually to the person and be, just an accident. We're all good. She's here. I'm here. Nobody's hurt. And then I'll take the photos. I tap my phone to the drone. It downloads the photos. We each sign something. Who was at fault? She rear-ended me. She's at fault. We all agreed on that. And then the drone flies away.
modern day robot.
I'm telling you, it could happen.
Mo, we here at TND Media
When you start to
go,
say these things, like, why you lump me in?
and I feel like the '90s are back, and now is the time to.
And
Anything goes. What are you saying?
how
I mean,
are the-
maybe clothing.
The 90s are not bad. We are.
Yeah, everything goes like in cycles, and
Anything goes or everything goes? Or is it anything and everything goes?
And this is the year of hot tub and mini fridge.
Oh, yeah, it
and
is.
we want to go strong with bringing back some of the classic '90s radio
Well,
show events.
Step one, and I know you can figure this out for us, is we need to be able to change our names legally to hot tub and mini fridge.
Oh, we can take that. We can get that taken care of.
Oh yeah, I knew that was easy.
No,
Awesome,
very
because we
easy.
want to do it
So-
right. We want to do it right.
One of the most popular bits in like the '90s, early 2000s, and radio dabbled with this a lot. I think it started with old Howard Stern and Baba
Might have.
Booey or
It
whatever.
might have.
Is these the joke boxing matches, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay, yep.
amateur boxing. I mean, Roxy, all the it
All
used to
of
be
them.
amateur boxing crazy, and it was the hottest thing,
It
and
was.
everybody was talking about it. It was a
the
moneymaker.
place to see and be seen.
Yeah.
Like you would show up, you dress to the nines, you put your Z Cavaricis on.
Yeah.
You're in VIP
Did
with
the girls-
Shaquille O'Neal.
Did the girls fight in like club dresses?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And sometimes
They
they wouldn't
kick
have
their
on
shoes
panties.
up.
It's a
Oh,
ball,
okay.
buddy. Sometimes
Yeah.
somebody get, their
Alright.
skirt knocked off.
They knocked their wigs off.
Yeah, there'd be a-
Before my time.
Yeah, there'd be
I didn't
a
get
wig-
to experience this.
Then there'd be like problematic people in there. There'd be people you'd be like, I don't think that person should be in an asylum, and he's up there boxing, and he was crazy.
And it's brilliant because it's basically free. Like you put up a cash or a bar tab
It's bar
for the
tab. You
prize.
never give cash. It's bar tab only.
And then so all these drunk people would fight each other for free, and then the club would get free entertainment.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And then for the like when you're
And then
gonna
hot
need-
tub and mini fridge hosted.
and you need a halftime show for the people that don't want to box. You need something just one tier down. Arm wrestling. It works. I'm telling
Yeah.
Because you need one tier down. Not everybody wants to get blunt force trauma to the head. Some people, but they still want to get in there. And you'd get those arm wrestling. Oh, and then people's arms would explode.
So
Actually, off topic, but there's an attorney I know. I think he's in the Midwest somewhere. He's not in Florida. And he had a paralegal in his office who was kind of like a bodybuilder, and he said, I can beat you at arm wrestling. And they're videotaping this, and they're arm wrestling on the conference table, and her arm just snaps in half.
Oh my
the lawyer.
No, the paralegal.
Wait a minute. So
The employee.
was it two women?
No, it was a guy and a girl. The
And-
guy snapped the girl's arm.
Oh my God!
It's on YouTube.
This
You
man
can
is a
find it.
monster. This man should be arrested.
I'm surprised she had enough force to push back to break her own bones. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm surprised.
Was he like, I'm sorry, bro? Like, what do you do after that? What do you do after you break a defense?
He's like, I'm an idiot. I'm gonna get sued. It's on video.
That doesn't even make any sense. He's a bodybuilder. He's like, who's the
No,
weakest?
she was the
in my-
bodybuilder. She was the bodybuilder.
Oh yeah,
I believe, yeah.
maybe too much.
Sounds like something Seth would do.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe too much soda and weakens your bones.
Yeah.
An old man
very
told me
brittle.
that one time.
So anyway, we want to bring amateur boxing back. And
To
of course-
Orlando, it's rightful home.
And of
Obviously.
course, we'll get Kratom Carey in there, and he'll be boxing.
He's the referee.
So he's our Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
It's Kratom
Yes.
Carey.
And then,
Let's get right in it. Whopper Jr.
we'll have some of our team box some other radio stations. Our team,
Yeah.
it's the whole thing.
Our team's better than your team.
Anyway, Mo, they shut this whole thing down because a couple people died, and then someone died
Always
in Tampa.
Karens ruining our fun.
And then
we're not allowed to say that because
they-
it makes Karens mad.
Damn it! They shut it down because of death. But it's been like what, 15 years?
I think
I think we can bring it back.
I think it's been long enough for people to be like, let's just bring it back just a little safer.
And maybe it was a statistical anomaly
Yeah.
that someone randomly happened to pass away.
People are healthier now.
Maybe you add a couple more rules, or you put headgear. Do they have headgear? I think they
had,
did. Yeah. Still
and they
bad,
had
still
poofy.
bad.
Then the gloves were bigger too.
Yeah.
They were like fatter
big
gloves,
poofy gloves. But anyway, Mo,
but not cartoon gloves because then that's just silly.
Can this be solved with some sort of extra signatures on waivers,
Yeah.
or we film them? We're like, hey, if you die, you're cool. right?
hold your license up.
They hold the
What's your
license.
real name?
Yeah.
My name's Brittany Thompson. All right. What's your fighting name? Cinnamon. Okay, Cinnamon.
Yeah. They
Hit
videotape them.
get in there.
With proper precautions, I think you could bring it back. You got to get your waivers straight and make sure there's informed consent.
I got the
and all
straightest
that
waiver
kind
in
of
town,
stuff,
buddy.
but
So it's possible.
I didn't mean to imply otherwise, Dan.
No. And I don't mean sexual orientation. I just mean no kinks.
Obviously.
So Mo, if we you being our counsel and came to you with this and like,
Why'd
hey,
you say that so southern? You being our counsel and all.
Too much Yellowstone.
You being our counsel and all. I was kind of hoping you might, meet me at my porch tomorrow and we'll discuss this over some sun tea.
And some grits.
Yeah. What are you doing?
but with the proper waivers, and then if someone does happen to die again, which is
Highly unlikely.
or 1 out of 20. I don't know. Are we screwed? Are they suing us out of existence? What's your opinion?
I mean, if you have the proper waivers, they may not be able to sue you out of existence. But if, I think back then the problem was they were kind of getting listeners or, casual people who probably didn't go through the formalities to have the informed consent. And,
It was all the ringleader was Jim Colbert.
Obviously.
He was
Well, it's just
obviously the ringleader.
it's just
and
the drunkest
he hurt
person
a lot
at the
of
bar.
He hurt a lot of families.
Does that hurt too? Like, could the person go back and claim like I was too inebriated to sign this?
Consent.
Yeah, you don't have the ability to consent if you're inebriated. Obviously, the Girls Gone Wild guy got sued a bunch for that. I don't
Joe
remember what happened
Francis,
with that guy.
No, yeah.
But yeah, that's
we
obviously
just
a
hired him as our new sales guy. You're gonna love him.
He can do it for prison.
Yeah.
He said it's easy.
Yeah, he changed his name though to Cinnamon. It's weird. It's complicated.
So what about this aspect? All right, we got the boxing down. That's good. Approved. All right, so
I think we're having a good day with Mo. I don't know about you, but I think we're getting a lot happening.
accomplished.
Here. Yeah, a lot accomplished. I feel like it's a good day at the Senate.
now this may sound creepy, but it's not. It's just business.
Yeah, you already got comments
that's
on
always
our
a good
TikTok.
preamble.
Oh my God! Have you seen all the people from Brazil and Colombia and our Latin contingent on our TikTok? They think you're the creepiest person in the world.
Oh my God.
We've now been excommunicated from Brazil, like Boricua, anything
from Brazil.
Any country that flavors their food does not like us now because of you.
Why?
We got
On
old,
TikTok?
only
You
white
were
people
weird
now.
to Vivi.
Yeah, because you.
What is it? What? I didn't even see it.
Because on TikTok, you ask Vivi, Playboy model, VC Dreams. You can VCDreams.com if you want spicy lingerie. It's beautiful Colombian lingerie. You ask her, bellissima, bonita, and then people are like, have you ever heard of the stereotype of the creepy white podcaster? And I'm like,
What? I didn't approve
You're
that.
going viral for being creepy.
yes, he is.
My wife told me, don't
Creepy
be a
old man?
creepy old man.
Oh, she's
Oh, yeah,
right.
that's right.
Is that what happened?
Yo, it happened.
Am I old enough to be creepy old man
And,
now?
apparently- 40.
and apparently I have been for 5 years and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
It's like those teens that get pregnant. And next thing you know, it falls out of them near a dumpster.
So, wet T-shirt contest.
Just like that. It's just like that.
I haven't seen a wet T-shirt contest. And seen the bikini contest. I think they've shied away from it because it's like extra gratuitous.
Dare Taylor's got the
Extra gratuitous.
Get that URL. Gratuitors.com.
Because in a traditional wet t-shirt contest,
Traditional.
if we're
There's a traditional
Back in my day,
if you're
the
doing
wet
it
t-shirt
right,
contest.
then they don't have like any bikini or underneath it. I know. Sorry,
Right,
no.
right.
And we're back to
then,
creepy old man.
then you pour the water. Anyways, then you see through it. That's the whole thing. Anyway, so
We understand what a wet t-shirt
Well,
contest is.
explaining
Why?
Please describe it, Tom.
Let me ask you a serious question. Why are you explaining what t-shirt contests to us like you're Mr. Wizard and you're explaining physics to a child? Like it's like you're explaining how fire is created or something to us. Why are you doing this?
And I'm just imagining this is the way things will go. We start doing one or two, and then I somehow convince Sam to get into it in our finale. Where like we're trying to get
it's the
bigger
main
and bigger.
event is what they call it in boxing.
And then we got
You're
sponsors.
going to end up being
and
our Jake Paul.
I promised.
Oh, I thought I was in the wet t-shirt contest.
No,
I'm like, oh, he's just
no.
volunteering me for that?
No.
it was the what? It was the.
I was correct.
Apparently my mini fridge powers are waning.
So this is
not as good as I used to be.
leading me towards there's gonna be
Well, Sam's going to win.
Well, there's gonna be a
Sam's gonna
photo
win.
of a picture.
You
Yeah, well, I
can't-
know she's gonna win, but that's why I convinced her. I'm like, hey, the prize money.
How much is this prize money?
I'm like,
Is the prize money
I'm
for her?
Latitudes is putting it up like $3,500.
We haven't talked to Latitudes in months, years even.
Anyway, I'm just saying that there's some prize. I talk her into it, but then she regrets it because the pictures
and then I'm Chris Kattan. It's ruined my career.
on the internet. Yeah, all the pictures on the internet, and then there's
big
me with some ball, with like the plastic bar pitcher with water, and then a pouring.
No, I'm at least going to buy some.
You would never be able to do that to me.
No.
And look me in the eye on
I
Monday.
put a bag over my head.
like
now it's extra creepy.
like the unknown comic from the 70s.
Why is
This
that?
has turned
Like
into
the
some
unknown
weird
comic on the
games.
Gong
This is
Show.
taking a turn.
He's got a paper bag on his head with just a mouth hole cut, a creepy glory hole mouth hole, and he's using a clear Pizza Hut picture to pour water on your hot tub and mini fridge, tiny
Yeah.
shirt. So I don't want to be a part of this.
So then
You're out?
Sam, her
Where
husband,
are we doing this?
her
Sausage Castle? Let's just make the trifecta.
they a lawsuit and whatever, but she signed a waiver too, along
Yeah,
with the other girls.
you signed it.
And then, but she's an employee, so there's that problem. And then, so
Well,
what-
not for that
how-
day. We'll do like that thing where we'll
one-
unsign you as an employee for one day.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
and then we'll re-sign you
Yeah.
if you decide to continue with hot tub and mini fridge.
So how does that look, Mo? Is that a bad idea?
Yes. I think we can probably end the analysis there.
All right. That's all we
But,
needed to
I
do.
mean,
Write that down.
Next question.
Yes.
Write down no.
So last question. There's going to be a part of the show where we
Where
run
I
out.
take all of my clothes and
no, we run out of gimmicks, and then all we could do, because we stopped trying, is just
That's not true. I try every day.
tase and mousetrap the people around us.
Oh, yeah.
And then Kratom Carey,
Sam, do you
Joe
want to get a new
Mazan-
job?
No, Sam's not a part of this one.
Follow me
Oh,
here,
okay.
Mo. This
well,
is
she's the only employee around you.
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
No,
but
no, but
she's
this-
only the wet t-shirt.
Okay.
No. We're
I
not
don't
gonna,
torture
we're not
her.
going to tase her. My God. I mean, we go
My
with her
animals.
straight. And I think we know that,
Are you tasing Tony?
Kratom Carey.
Tony's going to die. Don't taste
Let me
Tony.
tell you something.
I don't think you should.
Kratom Carey,
I don't
because...
think you should tase Carrie.
Yeah, you should. Here's
Clint
why.
Eastwood's going to come out and kick
Here's
your
why.
ass.
Cadillac Pat.
Everybody has done everybody thinks it's stunts and Jackass is a young man's game, and there's nothing funnier
Oh, yeah.
than a dumb old man. So I think if we combine Jackass with dumb old man, we call it old ass, and we start tasing this old crazy person crazy, and we get rich off this lunatic.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
We put on Twitch.
I'll give him 3 scoops of kratom. I'm tasing him
Yeah,
crazy.
he's turning in personalities.
He's flipping.
Yeah.
He's Sean Connery. It's me, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, his heart stops.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like we tased him too much.
Well, we got a defibrillator on.
But we had him sign the consent. How bad is that, Mo?
It's not a good look.
Okay, but he doesn't technically work for us. He just...
He still killed somebody.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, no.
Wrongful death.
All right.
Yeah.
Not if I drive his buddy to the dump.
Yes, all right. No killing. All right, thanks, Mo.
That's what I'm here for.
We got
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, we got a
I
good
looked
meeting.
that up online, got a completely different answer. I'm glad we can finally
Right.
cut through the BS and the fake news to get to the real answers
Yeah.
here.
If you're injured on the go, just call Mo. especially car accidents, injured at work and don't know your rights, Mo will steer you in the right direction. Right?
What is the, are there times throughout the year where you see more of a particular type of thing?
We see a lot of car accidents around the holidays for some reason. I think people are just out on the roads more. Maybe they're
Not
angrier or more
thinking. Yeah.
anxious. I don't know. But we see that kind of uptick.
I've
More
always
distracted.
wondered if you see almost like tides or patterns in
A little
law
bit.
where if you looked at it, you're like, yeah, we see an uptick of this, because I hate those stories they do around like the Super Bowl and stuff where they basically outline how none of us have our mental health or our anger under control and how we have domestic violence and we start hitting each other around sporting events and stuff, namely guys. I hate those kind of stories. I would like to think that those are not the patterns I'm looking for. I'm looking for more cheery and happier patterns.
It's usually a better idea.
Has there been a decrease in like DUIs in the past 5 years because of Uber?
I don't handle DUIs. You would think there would be, but I know there's still a lot of DUI attorneys in town, so I'm sure there's still plenty of DUIs. You know,
and you haven't seen it. Like I just wondered if it's like less people have to be drinking and driving. But
I will say that for as many times as you and I've brought up this topic,
But
and
responsible people,
we've asked Mo and other friends of ours and other attorneys that we know, I have never had one person tell me that it's gone down.
I think if you have the whereabouts to call an Uber, you're going to do that. But if you're drunk, and drunk people are just being idiots, so that's not going to change the behavior.
And you know what makes me think that he's absolutely correct, because he's one of the smartest people we know. But remember how hard it was for you and I to navigate Uber when we're just buzzed. And remember when you
the beach
were
party.
hammered, you couldn't.
He could not do it.
So my point is, based on real world experiences, where you and I are having a couple beers, we're navigating a new city. Very difficult for you.
Yeah.
We'd get it, but it would be very difficult. We'd be like, but hammer drunk, I can't get an Uber.
I think
man.
also sometimes people will drive to an event or something and not thinking they're going to get that drunk, and then they don't want to leave their car.
Yeah.
You know what
Why?
I mean?
It's a
I
car,
know.
and that's coming
I'm
from
with
me.
you.
Well, it's
I'm the guy that I
Yeah.
love my vehicles. I love the things that I have. I want to keep them nice, but at the end of the day, it's a car.
Yeah,
So-
just Uber anyway. Uber there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Pre-planning.
Don't drink and drive, please. For the love of Christ, do not do that.
Mo, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
We appreciate
anytime.
it. And we'll be right back. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Our producer Samantha is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
How are you? I was on your social medias last night.
Whoa.
And I saw a picture of a steak. What was it? It was steak, potato, and what was the
Zucchini.
Zucchini.
A little green in there.
Man, don't sleep on the zucchini. I love me some zucchini, and you had the right amount of color on that zucchini. Whoever was toasting them
That was
keenies,
me.
who
I
toasted?
I toast the keenies.
You toast a damn good keenie.
You like zucchini or squash more?
Oh,
It's about the same.
Yeah, it is the same.
I mean, it's the same family,
I don't
isn't it?
think- I don't-
It looks. It's just yellow
no,
and green.
it's not the same. Zucchini's green, squash is yellow.
No. The taste the same.
No, not to me.
It's just color preferences.
Not
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
because every color has a taste, I feel like, right? You taste with your eyes first. And when I look at green, when I look at yellow, I'm like, I don't know, pee-pee. Or something. Like, I don't know. I'm
think
just being
cheese.
honest.
Yeah.
I'm just
What about cheese?
Yeah.
I like white cheeses.
Wow.
Can't say that anymore, though. You start saying that, you're going to get canceled. What kind of cheese do you like? I like white cheese.
Should we do a weird job?
Yeah, we can. Sorry, let me put my soda down.
Well, I was going to start talking about our guest's fancy shirt, but I figure we'll get into weird jobs.
Introduce him
Yeah,
first,
it would
yeah.
be better to
I
introduce
wore
him.
it just for you guys.
And a one, and a two. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. You know, that's an embarrassing intro.
Yeah,
I
it
never
is,
really
yeah,
noticed
yeah.
how it's absolutely embarrassing that we'd have that.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Streamline Florida, Streamline Mortgage Solution. It's time for a cash out refi. If you have giant credit card payments, you're paying 15% on credit cards.
Well, if I didn't have a wife, man,
yeah.
my credit card payments would be bad.
Basically, there's probably equity in your house. There's equity in everybody's house because house values
I
are
hadn't
so
looked
high.
in a while, so then I looked last night. Oh, I got a lot of equity.
Yeah,
I'm
and
doing
if
pretty good.
You know, so if you got a bunch of bills or need to do some, home renovations, just take the money out of your house. It's there, and then
Hey, Sam, can you pay my telephone bills?
also they'll help you buy a house, and especially in this market, it's super competitive. And have Streamline help you because they'll actually take the time and help you, especially if you're a Tom and Dan.
Brian, his team, all the guys he has working for him, they're awesome. Our members, the BDMs, they love them, and yeah, you will too. StreamlineFlorida.com.
So our guest today for Weird Job, we've got Ryan Reese. How you doing, Ryan?
Pretty good.
So, Ryan, you've been in here before for Skate of Emergency.
Right.
And can we talk about that? No, because I asked Ryan, because I
already talked about it.
Events are hard.
I thought
We
you
talked
wanted
about
to
it
talk
last
about his
time.
fancy shirt.
I just want to mention to people that first, I can't imagine how difficult it is to put on an event where skateboarding is going on and the insurance nightmares of that.
The wrestling nightmare for us was enough.
Well, the wrestling. I thought
if someone
about that.
would have gotten hurt, we would have
This would not be a thing anymore.
No, I did not have enough insurance. I had to they're not even
But
really
at the
doing
end of the day, they're wrestlers, right?
Right.
Yeah, but if one person would have broken their neck, we would not be a business anymore.
Hey, Chris
Yeah, but
Kattanis.
it
Wall
would also
Street may
mean
not
one
be a
less
business.
cash for gold place would open in Central Florida.
I'm just saying, to get anything like that,
One less pain
organized,
pill addict off the streets is what I say. You got to look at the good, Tom. You got to look at the good.
People don't understand how difficult it is to put on events, especially with anything that is just viewed as slightly dangerous. The insurance is like, no. I mean, the amount
Right.
of money you have to pay, and then even they start taking things away. They're like, no, the ramps can't be that high. They get down to statistics.
Lower the rack.
Yeah, it rained that day too. So
Yeah.
it was
Oh, yeah,
slippery
oh,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want to talk about this. I'm just going to go
I'm
back to
sorry.
that.
I'm just saying.
It's not what he's here for.
We asked our guests, would you like to talk about the guy? We're like, well, we're going to power through. So you just sit there,
Well, it was in my mind as bring that up, and then it didn't matter.
That was one of my
Wow.
weird jobs.
All right, number two on the list of things that we're going to bring up before we get to your weird job is where does a man such as myself and our birthday boy, Tom Van, where do we find a shirt such as that? That is a fancy
Well,
shirt. And Tom proclaimed before we hit the airwaves, he said, and I quote, I like fancy little shirts.
Fancy tiny shirt.
Fancy tiny
Yeah.
shirts.
But he's worried about how to take care of it, though. And
Well,
so
there's
the trick is, though, thrift stores.
Thrift
That's
stores.
what it is.
You take it to a thrift store after you're done wearing
and if it
Oh.
tears or a
Tom's
button
not walking
comes
into a
off,
Goodwill.
No, he ain't going into Goodwill. He hates,
Too good for Goodwill.
Forget it then.
yeah, he
I
hates poor
want you know
people.
what? I want a shirt that says "Too good for Goodwill."
Yeah, there you
Bone,
go.
get on that. It's just the Goodwill. Is there like a place that I can go that has the same
Badwill.
price
It's the Badwill.
as Goodwill? Because I do like the actual you can get
Right.
because if that shirt was at Structure. Even that's the last
that
time.
even
Oh
around?
my God! You just blew my Heelys off my feet. That reference is so old. You blew the Heelys off my
That's
feet.
how little I go shopping or know anything about clothing or.
Oh my God! You know
Anyway,
what? You
that
know
would be an
what?
$85 shirt.
I'm so mad at you right now. Just go ahead and buy yourself a pair of Hey Dudes and put a bullet in your brain. You're done. You're done.
So you got that at Goodwill? Hold on.
Yeah.
That's a nice shirt.
Hold on. No, I've seen pictures of Goodwill, and
Have you ever been inside of a Goodwill?
I've been inside of Goodwill.
Have
and
we ever done a
everything?
go-to
He's only
show at a
donated to
Goodwill?
Goodwill.
We should.
and
Please.
it's
Okay, we're
garbage.
doing-
Everything in there is garbage.
Next week or the week after, we're doing.
You got to go to a good Goodwill.
Yeah,
That's
we're
right.
going to a good
That's right.
Goodwill.
Yeah.
The good squared will. Sam and Dan take Tom, and we are going to outfit you. We're going to pop some tags, Malcolm Moore. We're taking you to Goodwill.
You should totally style them. Yeah.
And we're going to give
You'll
you.
be surprised.
We're going to give you a style up. We're gonna. What do they call it? Girls? A glow up. We're gonna
Yeah.
glow you up, boy.
Is it,
For your 40th.
Ryan? Is it one of those things
40th glow up.
where, out of going to Goodwill for 6 months, 2 days a week, you finally found that shirt, and then you're like, I found
he
that at
dedicated
Goodwill.
his life to Goodwill.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I am a little skeptical.
He's
that
stone
You
cold
gotta
mad at
spend
you right
time.
now.
Well, that
You have to actually spend the time looking through the racks. But
How long?
But not that long. I mean, it all depends. There's times where you go and there's nothing. There's complete garbage. But I mean, the end.
That
you got
seems
to
like
find,
majority.
You got to go to the right Goodwill too. And
Do
I don't
you-
just
Yeah.
mean Goodwill. Other thrift stores too.
Correct.
The best
Do
ones
you
that are
buy
ran by like old people.
something no matter what because you feel bad for even being in there? Like, I think I feel like, you know what? I'll take these poop stained socks.
No, I actually went
Just-
for when I got this shirt. I actually went for a lamp and came
A
out with
lamp.
6 shirts.
It could burn
and no
your
lamp.
house down. That lamp.
Well, I didn't buy one, so my house is still there.
Here's the
good.
thing: rich people like to donate stuff instead of throw it away. So you can get some good stuff at thrift stores.
That's true.
Yeah,
I
but
feel like that's gone, right? Like, because
Yeah,
there's
but-
always some guy sitting there when the rich people show up. He's like, "I've been waiting here to put it on my eBay website. Give me all the good stuff." And then people will come
Yeah.
later that have jobs. You know, real humans. They'll come later and look for stuff, and nothing will be here.
like a buddy of mine
Right?
told me he basically started selling stuff on eBay when in the early 2000s,
Yeah.
like it's early
We
as
know
hell.
a couple BDMs that do that.
Yeah, but he got in, and then he started working at Goodwill, and then he told me that everybody, basically the managers and people that work at Goodwill, find all the good stuff and take it for themselves
Yeah.
and put it
Yeah, they're the
online.
ones going through it. Yeah. See, that's the thing. My weird
So-
job. I work at Goodwill, and so I'm glad the plug's going over well.
Okay. Oh, is this about Goodwill? Oh no, okay.
But no, you got to find the right
I knew
Goodwill.
you didn't work
No,
I know.
you totally didn't trick us with that whole Goodwill thing.
I know only homeless people work there.
Yeah, it's like a job to get you sort of sober, right?
Yeah.
No, good people work. I mean, they do it to give
Oh
people
yeah,
jobs.
I mean,
and all
look,
that.
there's a lot of.
I think
good
that's the
drunks.
goodwill part
I mean,
of
people
people.
that are addicted to alcohol are good people. They're just, they can't count your change when you're buying a shirt at the Goodwill.
It probably means you could steal from the Goodwill pretty easily, right? Because no one's really cares.
I used to be
It's a
really
bunch of
bad.
homeless people.
I just shoplifting from Goodwill.
You throw some pain pills on the ground, and they'll look the other direction.
Like they don't have cameras in the Goodwill.
They do, they do, but they were donated, so they don't work.
Yeah.
They're up there. They look good.
That was a great dad joke.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it more now in my
Because I'm a
40s.
dad. I'm a dad.
No, once I transitioned, now
Oh,
I'm
you fully
full bore.
transitioned.
Dad joke.
I'm gonna have to see you nude to see if you really fully transitioned. Because there's one thing that happens when you're a dad that most dads.
I used to go to the Goodwills and get, or it was more Salvation Army, go find a suitcase, and then I would just fill that with clothes, and then just buy the suitcase.
Yes, I like that. The only trick to that, though, is
I'm
you gotta-
probably going to serve a few days in hell for that one. though.
No,
Nah,
you're
it's
fine. The only trick to that, though, and I've heard of this, is you got to knock the turds out of the suitcase before you start putting
yeah.
clothes in there.
So,
Raccoon turds.
Ryan, what is your weird job? What are we talking about today?
So my weird job today, I have a new EP coming out, so music. I've played in the Orlando scene for a long time, but I kind of came back and out of nowhere made this album, and so I came on to talk about that. It's kind of a weird job. I've made $30 so far.
All right.
$30, and we're gonna buy it.
Yeah, and so
So let's talk about musician slash, I guess. Nowadays it could even be considered like a form of like social media influencer, right? Because mostly people or musicians are marketing their music
have to,
through
yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
then, so you're producing content, including music on social media, so therefore you're in the category of social media influencer, right?
Well, what's interesting about that is like my day job is I'm a marketing director of a restoration company, and so I didn't have that before when I was playing music when I was younger, and so I just thought since you played music on stage, everybody would listen to you, and that's
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
not true.
Yeah.
And so now that I have those like skills and know-how, like it's been mostly that first. Like I haven't played one live show yet, except some solo stuff. But
I think that's cool. I
yeah,
like that.
I started with everything first, and then therefore, if I play shows afterward, then people will be able to find it easily.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I like that. If you're watching live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, we welcome you. Also, the Twitch chat room says you look like the actor who played Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I get that a lot.
No, yeah.
And John Mulaney.
Yeah. But you definitely like restoration and the way that you're put together. He's a cool dude. And when I think that's a compliment. When I think of people that do like any type of like, I'm going to take something that people loved or like.
No, you're wrong. Not that kind of restoration.
Okay, what kind of restoration
like
do you
Surf
do?
Pro, like water and fire damage.
Oh yeah, I don't care about you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Bioremediation.
Yeah.
That's a weird job, but that's not cool.
Make a 12:28 time note. We're just going to clip that out. He doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, that's on the Venn diagram of insurance scam.
Yeah.
He's laughing because it's true.
I didn't really need it. I can't hear water coming out of that carpet.
Bring in the fans.
Yeah.
$4,500 a day for fans.
My God, you have so many fans in here. My house is lifting into the air. It's like the movie Up.
Yeah, just a couple fans. Seems like a lot. Anyway, okay. First question. Do you even think about how to like differentiate yourself from other music nowadays in a market of 10 billion songs a day probably are being produced and put on the internet? Like, is there any thought about like, okay, how can I be different, or do you just do the music you like? That's the best way.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people force music a lot. I used to do that when I was younger too. Like, oh, this is what people. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel I should write a song. I'd go into it with a preconceived notion, like I'm going to write a song like this. Where again, I said like this came out of nowhere. I didn't plan on playing music ever again, like on stage or making a record or anything like that. And it was just going through stuff and just picking it up again, kind of half bored, this and that. It's like I was 5 songs into it, and they just kept coming because I wasn't playing for anybody, and it just kind of naturally came out. And then that's when like I was playing it, and somebody said like, "Oh, these are actually really good. You should like record these." Like I didn't even have any intention of doing any of that, and so this was just like me alone in my living room, and then, it was kind of gaining momentum off of other people hearing it and me sharing some stuff here and there. And, that's the thing. I was posting them on Instagram, and people were commenting like, "This is great. If this was on Spotify, I would totally subscribe to this," and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't even have Spotify. People keep asking me, like, what are your musical influences? And, like, I listen to, like, movie soundtracks and stuff. Like,
that's cool, though.
I don't even, I couldn't tell you. I feel bad sometimes because I know they want to hear something, like, if they like this band or they can relate to it or something. And I'm just like, And so, not to say I don't have influences, but, just don't force it, like that. I've been, like, it's kind of like a whole new thing for me of just, like, letting it come. And sometimes it's not even, like, a song that I particularly like, but since, it's there and it's done, so I guess, why am I complaining? And I feel like it truly came from me and all that. And so, I mean, I think the only way to be original, you just got to let it, you can't force it, let it come out, even if it's not what you expected it to be.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Most of the time, I have the problem, and I have this problem when I'm doing music stuff for me for fun, where most of the time, I think because of my job and the way that my brain works, anytime I approach songwriting, it becomes somebody else's song. Like it's definitely influenced because most anything I've ever been forced to write has been like a parody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I think my pathways are like lined up to be like, well, you got to make it sound like, oh, what are you doing? So it's going to sound like The Weeknd. It's going to be like an 80s like techno like styled deal. Or no, I'm doing a country song. Well, who's that sound like? Oh, it obviously sounds like whoever you're listening to at the time.
Right,
Daniel,
exactly.
because you are that easily affected. Like I'm very sensitive and very emotional, so when I listen to something and it gets stuck in my head, it's there, and it might actually come out on some I'm not going to steal things verbatim, but man, the influences are hard for me.
Right. Or I hate it when people say, "Oh, it's kind of a mashup of this and that."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, well, I know both those things, and so you're just that, I guess.
Yeah. It's good. I've never. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, Ryan, let me ask, and Daniel,
and we're gonna play. We're gonna play a track at the end of our segment for you guys to listen to, which we can because we're a radio show. And I forget about that at times, that we can just go, "Hey, here's a song."
So, how less expensive is it now to professionally record yourself?
That's a good question.
As compared to, let's say, in the year 2000, right?
Oh, man.
So I know that you're a young guy, so that's you're probably in middle school and
somewhere around there, yeah.
Oh, that's creepy.
But
not 2000, but a little later.
So,
what'd you look like in middle school? How tall were you? About how tall were you?
I saw his eyes light up.
Let me sniff your hair here.
But so I remember when my friends played in punk bands, like to record an album, it was $1,000 an hour at the
dude,
studio.
we would spend
Right.
most of our time working our day jobs to save the money for the
Right,
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
And I know it's like super cheap now, but I don't really know exactly. Like I know that it could be next to nothing, but it's not going to sound as good as it did, in a professional
Certainly,
studio.
yeah,
but
yeah.
I know for consumer grade stuff, you can make it sound studio quality for how much? Now?
Definitely. I mean, I paid a pretty penny for what I did here because I did try recording it myself, like with GarageBand. I bought a cheap mic off of Amazon, and I go, I could do this, And I did get one song fully done, and I sent it to a friend of mine, and she was like, yeah, you're going to have my boyfriend take a look at this. And he was a producer. And so I was like, I thought it sounded good, for what I had, just
you
using
might know
GarageBand.
him, Rick Rubin.
But I mean, I'm sure he's expensive. But no, he has a little studio in his house and all this, but I mean, it was professionally laid down. I mean, I paid $600 for that, but it was only 5 songs, so it was a little over $100 a song.
That's a lot of money, man. Like
Yeah,
$600 is a lot of dough for
Yeah.
something that you're not even like. I guess okay.
And I will say,
That
too,
would have cost $6,000, $10,000 back 22 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
$15,000.
Yeah.
Are we talking like how much?
Man,
for those
it's got to be
songs.
up there. Yeah,
Well,
the
you-
studio
10 times
time
more.
and you're paying for the staff.
you
who's
got
gonna be
5
there.
songs back when, like in the late.
If you're recording at a studio, it's like $400 an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
late 90s,
Just to
early
record.
2000. We recorded
I remember it was
3
$1,000
songs.
an hour when I was in high school.
Well, it's Miami too.
Yeah, I was going to say it depends on the
Yeah.
studio, too.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say.
like
But I
98.
But I remember coming to Orlando from DeLand with my band to record at a studio. We did 3 songs, and I think we were right at $2,200.
Yeah, still.
I think it was 3. I think your math is about right, Tom. I think it was like 3 songs. They didn't get mixed well. We got all of our
You
tapes.
got, like, the bare
Yeah, we got
bones.
bare bones, and
Yeah.
it was like 20. I want to say $2,200.
I would
for
say
3
even
songs.
professional studios are probably cheaper now because they know that people can take it into their own hands and buy mixers
Yeah.
off Amazon and do whatever. I mean, even with podcasts, I'm sure you guys seen people can just go get a mic and a whatever. And as long as you have a laptop and a mic, you have
Or
a
if you
podcast.
don't want to do it, fun fact, if you're a local musician or band, you can just go to Valencia and have those kids record you for free because they have to do it. I did that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And you can get a
Yeah.
whole EP for free.
But that's
Or-
like going to like a hair school and getting your hair cut
Exactly.
and they
Yeah.
chop your
It's
whole.
not always going to be good.
Yeah.
Well, another option you can do, and this goes right into the Tom and Dan kind of universe, is if you have a buddy, like our buddy has, that is a producer, you can kind of walk over to the old Melrose Center and and book some time in a full blown real recording facility with all the software and everything. All you'll need to bring is yourself, maybe a notebook, a pair of headphones, maybe, and just show up
Yeah.
and have the time booked, and you could start your journey there using millions of dollars of equipment that
Yeah.
you'll never be able to afford for free.
Yeah, I'll say too, like I had everything already. Like I said, I was playing the songs for about a year before I wasn't taking it that seriously, and
Did we talk about what the project's called? Is it called?
it's called Failure to Signal.
There
That's
we
the
go.
EP, yeah. And so it's just my name, and that's the name of the EP. But yeah, there's one song out called The Writing on the Wall. That was the single that's coming out, and then the full thing comes out either tomorrow, today, or sometime this week, however Spotify releases that stuff. But,
Cool. Very cool.
yeah. I was going to say, though, since I already had everything really planned out, I went into it already knowing, hey, these are what the drums are going to sound like. This is how the bass is going to sound like. We weren't trying to figure anything out.
And were you giving directions to musicians, or were you playing?
No, it was me doing everything. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah. And so, like, that was another thing. Nobody was late. We didn't have to rely on anybody. It was just me and Mike, the producer, just going. He was just like, tell me what it is. And so it was me just communicating what the whole project was.
That's cool.
This is it. And so we got it done kind of quickly and efficiently, just because we weren't sitting there being like, what's the next chord? Oh, I forgot the
Yeah.
lyrics.
Or
I already
writing
had
and
this.
recording. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
You strike me as a person who likes to be prepared. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
Now, I have no idea what your music sounds like. I just realized, because you're talking about doing it all yourself. So originally, and this is pure
This could be
laziness
fun.
for lack of preparing and listening to your music.
Right.
But originally, I was like, I was trying to do the math in my head. Like,
Do you wanna try to
you're a part of
guess
a
what it's
band,
gonna
and then
sound
you're
like?
doing it all yourself. I'm like, it's a Dave Grohl type of deal where he's playing all the instruments, or
I don't think he
or
does
it's
that so much anymore.
Or you're
but-
like like an acoustic is like acoustic guitar and a piano.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure out what style of music. I have no clue whatsoever.
Thanks for doing the research, man.
Well, I like to be surprised. It's what lazy radio shows.
A lot of lazy radio guys, what we like to do is we like to have our producer go, you got the guy coming. I'm like, I don't care, just he'll come in. And you sit down, and then we kind of fumble through it, and then we're like, we act as if we act as if
it's like I'm discovering it with the audience.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's actually harder for me to ignore and not look at what everybody else is researching about you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have to stand outside.
And also,
before
what you feel is you'll feel us being terrified of not knowing where any of this is going.
Right.
And if we feel that you feeling us being terrified puts you at ease.
Yeah, well, maybe if you listened to it, you wouldn't have had me on, so maybe this is a good
Double swerve.
it just starts off with the N word.
Oh no.
I'm like, I have to edit that. It's a long edit. That's a long edit. Now, are we going to go in? We're going to play the whole song. Right? Can we? It's edited.
the
right?
whole thing?
Are you cursing in it? You don't.
No.
Okay. Okay. So,
I'm a
Oh,
gentleman.
you play the whole thing? That's awkward. Just sit here.
no, not with him here. I'm going to put it in post.
Oh, you do the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do the thing? Is that what you call me sending the shows to the radio station? Is doing the thing?
Yeah.
Hey, he just said he's lazy, so.
What do you think this sounds like? Go ahead. You can try to predict.
Hold on,
it.
before we play this, I forgot what. Okay, so Daniel, I never give credit to Daniel for how
You give
good.
me credit all the time.
No. For this specific
Every
thing.
day you're like, hey man, I'm so glad you're here. You hold this thing together. I'm like, I know. I know.
For how good he makes the show sound, right? Like how good of a producer he is, and like
a sickness.
how he can hear things that I wouldn't even notice, and I don't even think matters personally, but Daniel does, and obviously it does because the show sounds so good. Hence, like recording and making recordings sound good, like being an engineer.
Oh,
right?
that's a different animal when you're doing music, though. Because I can't get the depth in this studio. We don't have enough. Good. No, seriously, just everything in here sounds fresh and new, and it sounds like a show, like our show. But to do that, to get that depth you need for music, we don't have it.
It brings me back to our original studio number 1, in Daniel's spare bedroom, and his the 2 houses ago.
A lot of the same equipment we still use to this day.
And he recorded an artist, Jessica Stavely Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
And the damn recording sounded so good that it still holds up, and still BDMs were posting it there. I'm like, this is still like amazing how well.
That's her with one mic. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Well, no, but you recorded it, and and then so is there some luck involved with that? Is there like how much are you like? I don't know. Like, is that all Daniel? Is that just a luck
Here
of the
would be
draw?
my take. Yeah, of course I know how to work my equipment, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm some sort of super producer. But I know my stuff. But here's some things we had working for us. We're in a really old house with all wood floors. We had a girl from England who is a premier singer-songwriter and just top tier. So, like, we knew, like, her thing, whatever she was going to bring to the table was never going to fail, right? And we had the wood floor. We had a tiny room. The microphones we were using, we didn't cheap out on. They were decent microphones, and we had a decent computer. And then with me having the attention to ride the faders and move microphones correctly around what she was trying to convey, yeah, we did it right. And that's why it works. But I would, if I got to give the award to somebody, I'm going to give it to her first and to the wood floor second. Because that wood floor in that house would be an awesome place to record for most people for vocals.
I just think for people not in that industry, because I'm speaking to 3 people. Even Samantha went to school for audio engineering, right?
Yeah.
So you guys understand what is happening during recording, and I have no idea. And I think most people don't, and don't even appreciate when something sounds really good.
Yeah.
And they're like, that is hard to make it sound that good.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. It's
Right.
just,
When I was trying it by myself, I was definitely, I thought it sounded good to me because my standards are very low, but when I put it out, other people definitely recognized it who were definitely engineers and knew the technical stuff, so.
Well, let's should we get into it?
All right.
You want to play it?
Yeah.
All right. So here is The Writing on the Wall. This is, you can purchase this too. Just go to Ryan Reese. What is that? Can I have my glasses? 192.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
Ryan Reese 192.
So are we ending the segment?
Well, I mean, like,
should I say bye? I don't know how to do that.
No. We'll just play it in its entirety because I hate it when DJs talk the post. So here's the music.
Okay. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got a guest on the line we're super excited about.
Yeah, we're really stoked about this, and it's one of those times where we knew exactly who the person was, but we didn't have the full scope of who we were talking to. So we do what we normally do, as we try to be like intelligent broadcasters. You know, we sat down, we were like, let's dig in and see what our guest, Rob Paulson, has been in. And then we just pulled up the little diagram here, and we start going through.
What has he not been in?
And that is the question.
Yeah.
What has he not been in? Because the list is endless, so I'm just going to jump to it. You may have known him from Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
You may know him from Animaniacs. You might have known him. Yakko. Could have been The Simpsons. Could have been Cat Dog. Could have been anything Nickelodeon. Could have been a ton of Disney.
Toodles from Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse Club. I mean, just
that was consumed 3 years of my entire life.
well, the number of things. You might know him from his book, Voice Lessons, that you can currently purchase on Amazon, but we are certainly proud to have him on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Paulson's on the line. How you doing, man?
I am breathing, and I'm not in jail, but the day's not over yet. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So, Rob, this is like this couldn't happen at a better time because my sons are obsessed with Animaniacs and the new incarnation of
so
Animaniacs. And I watched Animaniacs when I was younger. You know, I'm 40 as of yesterday, and then
congratulations!
Thank you.
Happy birthday!
And my sons are like they got really into it because it's on Hulu and
Sure.
And they're watching it, and it's brilliantly written, first off, and it has jokes in there that like pop culture jokes, and I forgot how much pop culture infusion was in Animaniacs.
It's always been set up for that. In my opinion, it was always the vehicle that if you wanted, it was always considered like the hip cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, like almost too cool for the room. You'd go in there and there'd be references that were current and new, but then there'd also be a tip of the hat to old Hollywood, which I always found to be very cool within Animaniacs. When did they first approach you, and did you know that Animaniacs was going to be reborn, for lack of a better term?
They being Mr. Spielberg, decided
right.
about the King of Hollywood, no less. It was about 2016, actually, that the edict came down that Mr. Spielberg was interested in doing Animaniacs again. And thank you so much, Stephen, that he decided to hire the original voice cast for the primary characters, for yours truly as Yakko, and my sister Dot by Tress McNeil, my brother Wacko by Jess Harnell, and my dear friend The Brain is done by Maurice LaMarche. So Mr. Spielberg said, we're going to do this,
That's crazy,
but only if you guys are in, which in today's Hollywood is a huge compliment, because the general tenor of the times finds often animated characters being voiced by celebrity talent, movie stars.
Right.
And I don't know that necessarily makes for a good show. If you don't have a good script, and you're correct, the scripts are just brilliant. And by the way, the word from the top, both on the first iteration of Animaniacs and the current one on Hulu, was always not to condescend to the audience, was always to the room, a la Rocky and Bullwinkle, Looney Tunes, Flintstones, Simpsons, and I think they were very smart to do that, because all these years later, you were just discussing that your kids were watching it, and you can get jokes that you didn't get when you saw it the first time, and now you are getting jokes that are hip cultural references in the new version that your kids may or may not get, and it doesn't matter as long as it's well written and the music is terrific. But all of this came about 5 years ago, and it took about, we were on Stephen time, because he does things like go and make Jurassic Park and West Side Story, for which he was nominated for yet another Oscar.
There you go.
And in the interim, we were all getting ready to go and pulled the trigger, and we've done, we have our second season drop last November on Hulu. We're finishing up season 3 for Hulu this fall, and I think that we've kind of caught lightning in a bottle again, you guys. It's the tip of the hat always goes to Tom Ruger, who created the show back in the early 90s. And the genius behind that whole ethos, not to sound too fancy, but the fact is it's been maintained. And I'm so proud of it. It's great fun to watch. It's so much fun to work on. And the cool thing is with my job is all I have to do is say, "Nerf," and people laugh. It's pretty cool.
It worked.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because like you bring up an excellent point when you're talking about reboots, or and this not necessarily a reboot. This is everybody original.
Continuation.
Yeah, we're just continuing
Right,
where
right.
we left off a while ago. Do you think that, in your opinion, the reason it is working is because you guys did something that normal people don't, or normal new Hollywood people don't do, in the fact that you kept, here's an idea, you
original-
kept things the same because it
Yeah.
worked. Is that I mean, it almost seems like you guys had a very simple equation. It's like, yeah, let's just keep it the same. It worked. Is that pretty accurate?
Well, it is exactly spot on. Mr. Spielberg made that conscious choice and knew that, we all go do live events. I travel around the country and the world, actually, doing autograph things, conventions, et cetera.
Sure.
In fact, I'm on my way to Pensacola, Florida this weekend.
Oh, we got a ton
and,
of listeners around that area. Hey, if you guys that are fawning over him in the chat room, go see him. And
Yeah.
Yeah, please. I'll be at Pensacon this weekend with a great group of people.
Nice.
So it stuff filters down, and he sees that we're out doing live events, that we can still do the voices. That every time I get someone asks at a live event, I'll sing the United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru song, and people love that. And he sees, my God, Rob still does it. They can all still nail it. Why on earth would we, hire Peter Dinklage as the brain and Russell Brand as Pinky?
Exactly.
And as casting no aspersions to those terrific actors. It's not about that. It's about the authenticity of the characters. And if it were not for the fact that we could do it, we wouldn't have done it. It would be really simple. You could leave well enough alone, but if you're going to do it, you might as well try to do exactly what you suggested. Stick with what worked. It's not that it's just because it's a new generation doesn't mean they're not going to get it.
Right.
And it has to be Katy Perry as Dot. Come on, it's not about that.
Yeah.
So I think that he made a wise choice. Obviously, it butters my bread, but as a fan, I'm separated enough where I can watch them and be pretty objective. And it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I
It's really
like the
great
fact
stuff.
that you threw in Katy Perry, obviously with Smurfette. I get the reference. Yeah. I mean, you don't necessarily need that. You just want the Animaniacs to be authentic and funny, which is what they always were. Yeah, I actually think it's better to leave it as an original character. It almost makes the character stand more alone on its own character merit than it would
Yes.
be to inject a famous person's voice in there. Well, what are you getting? You're actually detracting from the actual character that was written in the first place. So
That's that's kind of, I think, the feeling that Mr. Spielberg had. I mean, remember, Stephen is a huge cartoon fan. I mean, this guy helped create Tiny Toon Adventures, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, Freakazoid, was instrumental in all those shows. And he loves it. If you watch that eponymous show that was on HBO a couple of years ago,
Sure.
the documentary, self-titled documentary about Steven Spielberg, about halfway through it, he highlights all those shows. And so they are as important to him as Lincoln or Warhorse or Jurassic Park or E.T. And when you have that kind of juice behind you, it's pretty difficult. I mean, you got to work to screw it up.
right.
But I think you're spot on with your suggestion about keeping the characters authentic. And again, let's make it, not again, but I also want to make it clear, I don't draw them, I don't write them. You guys are incredibly kind for making a fuss over me. But without those wonderful scripts, we got nothing.
Yeah, but you're
And,
smart enough to acknowledge that too, which a lot of people wouldn't do.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I think is animation. And sorry, Tom, I didn't mean to.
No.
Is animation, because entertainment? We work in entertainment. We're podcasters. We have a radio show.
Sure.
We've done movies and stuff like that, and dabbled in it on a very low level. Is it a uber competitive business, and can it be a nasty business?
It is competitive by nature because there will always be more actors than there will be jobs to fill them, or the jobs for them to fill, I should say.
Yeah.
So it is terrifically competitive, but not nasty, not at all. And I think precisely because it's not about how you look. Once you start getting your ego involved, where it's about, am I tall enough? Are my teeth perfect? Does my figure look okay?
Yeah.
Is my hair okay? It takes on a totally different vibe versus just being purely creative.
That's interesting.
And that's exactly what we have with respect to voice work. It's all about creativity, improv, music, acting. It's literally like being in a big sandbox with a bunch of crazy, gifted people. And the actors with whom I work on a daily basis, Billy West, Maurice LaMarche, Tress McNeil, Nancy Cartwright, John DiMaggio. Go on and on and on.
You're listing like the Mount
Hall of Fame,
Rushmore
yeah.
of. I mean, and you're right there too. You're right up there.
Well, thank you. I got to stop dropping names. Bob De Niro told me that. But the fact is that all these people are not only supremely gifted, and you are just like me and getting a little bit chilly. You kind of get chills when you think about all these talents. But they're the most unpretentious, down-to-earth, kind, helpful, supportive people you'd ever meet. But, man, when you poke them with a stick, look out, because they just go off, and it's brilliant.
Well, Rob, speaking of the business, do you work from a home studio now and do everything because I would imagine a home studio is way less expensive and the quality's so good now.
Yeah, I do, but I don't like it. I prefer to be with the other actors. Obviously, the COVID protocols notwithstanding, I'd always rather be surrounded by the people whom I just mentioned, because the high tide raises all boats. I'm way better when I'm surrounded by those people. Plus, it's just a wonderful way to get paid to go have a party every day.
That's an honest answer, and I appreciate that.
I was curious, Rob, because I was thinking in my mind, I was like, wow, as a voice actor, and because you could build your home studio and record it from home and just MP3 everything over or whatever, Dropbox it, I was like, that sounds like a sweet gig. You just go down in your pajamas and record your stuff. But you're right, there's an element of not being in the same room with people, and as a performer and an actor, you want that energy, right?
I do exactly. Acting is acting. I started out many years ago when I moved to LA. It was ostensibly to do live action, and that's what I was doing. I was a singer who became an actor, and I was doing episodic television and features and a lot of commercials on camera.
Like MacGyver. Sorry.
Like MacGyver. That's right. And St. Elsewhere and Hill Street or whatever, lots of stuff. But then the opportunity presented itself to do animation, and I just wanted to keep working. But, man, the first thing I noticed was I walked into the room on a show which turned out to be Transformers, and I see all these wonderful actors, many of whom I recognized from episodic television growing up in the 70s.
Sure.
And none of them were limited by how they looked. Some of them were handsome, some of them were not so handsome, some of them were quite beautiful, some of them were not. But it had nothing to do with that. It was about pure creativity. It was like the purest form of acting. And it turns out acting is acting. And I am always better with good world-class talent around me. It's pretty hard not to be.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Transformers. I mean, we've talked about G.I. Joe before on the show.
Yeah.
Tom has mentioned the character Snow Job.
Oh, okay, Rob, I got to ask you this because we brought this name up. We've been doing this show for a while, long
12 years, 13 years.
And it's been a constant thing where I bring up Snow Job because I remember as a kid, I wanted the skiing G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
and
I owned him.
We had to go to Toys R Us, and it never was available. And there was pre-internet.
We live in Florida.
And I never actually got Snow Job. But as I became an adult, we started talking about it. I would make the joke. I was like, they're making a joke, right? And so let me ask you, Rob, when you did the voice of Snow Job, did you question hey, this is,
But that's not what it is. I believe a snow job, not to get too blue with Rob on the line, but I believe a snow job is when you're almost like you're blinded by the snow. Like it's like false information, right? That's like a snow job.
Right.
You're thinking of
No, but I mean, someone would have had to have been like, hey, I know, should we call it snow job?
Listen, it didn't. As I recall, there were plenty of people taking that joke and making it as a deep shade of blue. It wasn't lost on me. The fact is that one of the things that I questioned when I saw a drawing of Snow Job, who was a guy from up down east up in Maine and from the Northeast. Yo, Joe! And knowing is half the battle. I remember that guy. But Snow Job was that Arctic soldier guy who was dressed all in white hood, white skis, white weapon, white ski poles, white everything, with a bright red beard.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, God, any Ruski worth of salt could pick this guy off from 300 yards.
Aim for the blood ring. Yeah, the
Shave your beard.
Yeah, aim for the orange beard.
I never thought about
I'm just
that.
like, hey, Snow Job, why don't you go ahead and shave your beard, you idiot? But no, that was great. That was the first cartoon I ever did. Was
Really?
Snow Job on G.I. Joe, and then there was another one called Tripwire.
Yeah, I remember Tripwire.
And then I did some aerial bots on Transformers. I was, I can't even remember the name of them. Air Raid, and
I'm looking at it right now. You got Air Raid right. I mean, we'll have to pick the other one up, but I remember that one. Yeah, but it's...
I can't remember, but nonetheless, that was my intro into cartoons, and it took me about 5 or 6 years to finally tell my agent, you know what? I don't think I'm interested in the on-camera stuff so much anymore. If somebody calls and I've got a friend who's making a movie or something, that's one thing, but I'd rather audition for animation. And I believe I made the right choice, because now, all these years later, people still don't care what I look like. I go to work pretty much every day, and if I'm not working, I'm talking to nice folks like you who've gotten such joy out of these characters. And I'll tell you what, you guys, that is truly the gift that keeps on giving. Until the advent of the Internet and IMDb and nice folks like you who are willing to talk to me, I really, truly had no idea the extent to which these characters connect with people at a visceral level.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. This weekend, I will meet people, as I do every time I go to a live event, who will come up and tell me through tears how Ninja Turtles or Animaniacs or Pinky and the Brain or Jimmy Neutron or Fairly Odd Parents or The Mask or The Tick or
Fraggle
whatever.
Rock.
Yeah, Fraggle
Rock
Yeah.
got them through an impossibly difficult time. And now they're okay, and they've got their own kids, and they share it with their children. And a proud 45-year-old dad will be there in his Ninja Turtle shirt, and all his kids and his wife are in their own Ninja Turtle shirts. And he's telling me that he was in the foster system when he was a little guy, but as long as there was a television to each home he went, that he could figure it out.
Yeah.
And he was able to survive. How on earth do I quantify that compliment? And it happens to me every single time I do one of these events. It is a profound gift to me, and I can't get enough of it.
And he's
Wow.
going to be at Pensacon, PENFACON.com. If you want to get your tickets, I know we have people in that area, tons of people.
Yeah.
Because Florida is our joint. But if you want to go see him, and I wish I lived in Pensacola. Man, next time you're in Orlando, guys, we're going.
Yeah.
We're just going out to see you.
Yeah,
We're just
yeah.
going to make the trek.
So, Rob,
Well-
I'm curious real quick with your process of coming up with the voice of the character and a little behind the scenes about how that's developed. So, like a character like Yako, who's so infamous and iconic, does someone suggest, like, that, I want him to sound like this? Is it totally up to you? How do you go about deciding?
Does Spielberg just say, this is exactly what I want, do this?
No, in fact, it would that it were that easy. I think the producers would love it if they could just say, here's exactly what we want, and we'll find an actor who fills the bill. But fits the bill, rather. But it doesn't work like that. What generally happens is that, pardon me, I'll audition for something, or any of the other people I mentioned. We'll get a call back, maybe a couple of callbacks, and then you'll get the job. And then the real work begins about honing a character and what they want to sound like, what they want the sensibilities of the character to be, how the character relates to the other actors, other characters in the script, no different than any other theatrical production. Excuse me. In my case, once things started to get down to the nitty-gritty, I believe it was Tom Ruger, the creator, who said, I think we'd like that Groucho Marx smart-ass vibe. Can you do, guess the magic word, or things like, hey, Batman, does Dracula know you're wearing his cape so badly? things that are kind of smart-assy, which is not too dissimilar to my own vibe. So the idea to try it with that sort of helium thing was my idea, and that coupled with the way that it works in the context of the other characters made for an interesting audio mix, and the fact that he was the big brother, albeit the smart-ass big brother, ended up working very well with the other two actors. So it is definitely a decision by committee. Writers, producers, even animators every now and then will be brought in because they can. The way they animate often is dictated by the voice work, because all the animation is done after we record the voices, so that we're not locked into the picture. So that allows me to improvise, come up with silly answers to Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering? And Pinky says, I think so, Jane, but me and Pippi Longstocking, what would the children look like? No.
Yeah. That's it.
We're not locked into the picture. So we can improvise and add all sorts of cool stuff to it, and then they animate to what we've done. So to the extent that our characters become a little more fleshed out, it is often more helpful to the animators.
You know, you brought up another interesting part I've never thought about with animation, but now knowing that at least in your process too, that all things are recorded and you're given a little bit, like am I correct in assuming that they might okay, you gave it a few passes with the written word and now they're like, okay, now what are you feeling? Just give a couple swings at it and then they keep
Absolutely.
it. Yeah. And when
Absolutely right. And when all of us are pretty strong with our improv chops. A bunch of us have been on the Groundlings and the Upright Citizens Brigade, the Acme Comedy Theater, and all of us have strong improv chops, and we're hired for that. So when you have people who really start to get to know their characters and and you can trust their skill, the writers and the producers would be silly not to have at least one or two passes of letting these actors just go.
Yeah.
And when you just let everybody riff, even if what comes out might be a bit blue, might be a bit inappropriate, whatever.
Yeah.
But even if what comes out might not be usable for the final piece, the energy that's created in that room by all these world-class talents is something that just makes the show better. And more often than not, an improv does end up in the end show on the shows we're talking about. It was a very big deal in The Mask when I got to be the Jim Carrey role for a whole lot less money.
Right.
But same thing with The Tick, a whole lot of improvising in Pinky and the Brain. But it is not because the scripts are bad. It's because the scripts are so good that they inspire us to try even more. And the scripts just read funny. If I came to you guys with 35 Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs scripts, you just laugh out loud reading them.
Right.
They're just beautifully done, and the improvising is just another way to use every arrow in the quiver of the creative process. And I'm pretty effusive in my praise, but it's because I still pinch myself 24 hours a day, kind of thinking, how on earth did I find a way to make a living doing essentially what got me in trouble in 7th grade with people that I choose to be my friends, all of whom are Emmy winners and Tony winners, and it's just crazy.
Speaking of that, Rob, when you won the Emmy,
congrats on that.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you.
But is it is it a situation where you're like, oh, thank you for recognizing me, I appreciate it, or were you really honored? How important are those awards to actors? I'm always curious because I'm like, do they really? Is that an honor for them, or is it just part of the process?
Yeah.
Like how'd you feel about it?
Well, it's always an incredible honor, and I'm dead serious. It's an incredible honor to be speaking with you guys. You've got a zillion people you can speak to. The fact that you chose to share your valuable time with me today is nothing short of a privilege, and I get that. The Emmy is no different.
You're too humble, Rob.
You are the nicest. Oh my God!
Yeah. Are you
Can
joking?
we just interview you for every
I would have
interview?
canceled all my plans today to talk to Boober from
I mean,
Fraggle Rock.
normally
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
talking to our listeners, and they're horrible, Rob. I got to be honest. I do not want to talk
Yeah,
to them.
they're filthy
I'm just
people.
like, oh God, I didn't get to where I am to talk to you guys. I want to talk to Rob.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but
thank you, though.
seriously,
Well,
like,
but it's true. I've worked really hard to do this work, and the bottom line is I worked really hard for the privilege of going to live events, speaking to folks like you. The Emmy was a huge gift. I think it was the coolest thing was that my family, my wife and son were there.
Cool.
I got to thank my parents on national television. That was pretty cool. But it doesn't change my life. What changed my life were shows like Animaniacs and Ninja Turtles and things like that have given me the opportunities to travel around and meet people and find out, as I said a bit earlier, how deeply they connect with these characters. And that is something that is this astonishing bonus in a career that has already been, by any measure, way beyond what I could have imagined. And while I'm very grateful for the Emmy, and I don't want to give it back, it's not like I got 10 times the money for my next gig.
Yeah,
it's
right,
not
right.
like winning, it's not like winning an Oscar. But I'm not going to give it back. It is an example of Hollywood and the fact that I've achieved something in the context of Hollywood that meant enough to a group of people to say, oh, at this moment, this guy was outstanding, and we're going to give him this statue.
yeah.
And I'm very grateful for it. And it was pretty cool. What I should have said when I won, because as I mentioned earlier, I get it, that I'm not the famous one, the characters are. But what I should have said when I got up on the stage to accept my Emmy was, I'm the only person here I don't recognize, because everybody else was famous,
Yeah.
But,
you know what's funny about it, too, though, is that, though in a weird way, you have proven to maybe, your sons, Tom, my daughter, younger people that might be listening to this that like doing voices. I was a kid when I grew up. I loved doing voices. I still do voices on our show.
Sure.
But what I really enjoy is that you were able to get an Emmy. Like when you tell a young actor or actress or somebody, like, and they want an Emmy, they think that there might be only one path. But what you have proven to everybody is that no, you can still be. And I'm just guessing here. I don't really know you, but you've given us 30 minutes of your time, and based on this interview, I am going to check the box good person. I'm going to check the good person box. I'm going to check nice person, generous person.
Well, thank God I'm not like your listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I told you,
That's what we
Rob.
said. They're filthy animals. But what I've learned is that there's not just one path to get an Emmy, right? Like you were able to do it sort of your way, and with but you still got it. You still got there. Maybe it doesn't mean the same thing that it does to other people, but you were still able to accomplish it and still keep your core values and be a nice and a good person, and that's important.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Thank you. Well, I think it is important, and that's why I say what is important to me is that you've given me the chance to tell everybody how lovely these people are that do the work. And by the way, let me tell you, based on my own personal experience as well, Steven Spielberg is one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet in your life. Here's a guy who's worth $4 billion.
Jesus.
He's the king of Hollywood. He's now, almost 75 years old.
Yeah.
But he makes it a point to let everyone know how much he appreciates our work, that we are as important to him as Tom Cruise or Liam Neeson. And
That's awesome.
I am profoundly grateful to have found a way to hitch my wagon to his star.
I love it.
But it's important for average everyday people like us to know that guys like that are really terrific people. It's not like everybody in Hollywood is all full of themselves. It's really not the case.
Well,
The best of the best are,
and I
the best
believe
of
you.
the best are generally very nice.
I believe you,
it's
Rob.
part of the reason probably why he's worth $4 billion. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Yeah.
Rob, thank you so much for the time. Pensacon going
my
on.
pleasure.
Pensacon.com. Go there. You can go and see him. We hope to do it again because I have a feeling you're going to be in Orlando. And trust me when I tell you that the three of us will find you and we will not leave you alone.
Yeah, and check out his memoir, Voice Lessons. You can probably find it anywhere on the internet.
I'm going to buy it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, kids. It'd be absolutely my pleasure to come visit here, and I will keep in touch. And when I'm in Orlando, I'll come over and you can't stop me.
All right.
Thanks,
We'll
Robert.
do it. Take care of yourself. Have a good rest of your day. All right, man?
And you. Take care, folks.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Oh, my God. What
Well,
the nicest person we've ever met. That's the nicest
Yes.
person we've ever
That
met.
guy was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
My God, I want him to be my grandpa.
What a nice man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean,
I feel like if he were... I
I'm
feel
like, I want to give him something.
He
What can we
raised
give
us
him?
all, right?
I
mean, he
feel-
raised us on all these cartoons.
I really miss my
Why
father
is he so
right
nice?
now.
Why is he so nice?
I miss my dad.
Let's give
right
him something.
now.
I don't know.
cry.
What can I give him?
I want my dad.
What can I, go buy his book. Buy 3 of his
What
books.
can I give him?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, go buy his book for real.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
Lord.
We didn't even get to
Wow.
the throat cancer. This man survived throat cancer.
I
I know.
didn't want to
Yeah, because
ruin the chill, awesome vibe with throat cancer because throat cancer sucks. But
I
hey,
know.
he beat it.
but read about it in the book.
Yeah, you can
Well,
buy his
yeah.
book and tell it. Hey, when you
Imagine
buy
how
his book-
devastating that was. Like,
Exactly.
and I didn't want to bring that up too.
That's his
because
whole livelihood.
It's too nice. I was like, your livelihood is this, your passion, your love.
The chat room wants to
and,
give him a straw hat.
and you give one straw
Damn
hat
it.
for Rob. We're out of them. But I think we have one in the studio.
That's for him.
We do.
But then I gotta go and mail it. He don't want
He'll
it.
be fine.
He knows Steven Spielberg. Anyway, that was great. And that
was
dude
great.
is freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Bye-bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. I was going to say our Samantha is here.
Yeah.
What's up, producer?
Hello.
How you doing? What's new
Good.
today?
I am your Samantha. It's fine.
Well, hey, I appreciate you being here. We love you, and thanks so much for all that you do.
Jana and Jason self. Oh, God.
Tom Sorrell.
Jason selfies.
That's that 40-year-old brain.
Yeah, it's the
One
selfies,
day-
everybody.
One day, Jason sent a picture into Local 6, and Tom Sorrells, the weatherman, he used Jason's picture on the air.
My good friend Jason Seltzer.
Yeah. He stumbled on it about 4 times. He kept trying to correct himself, and every time it just kept coming out worse. He was like, Jason Shelfer. We just
Jason
sat at
Shelfer.
home and we just started laughing.
It's all right, Tom.
It's
even
the
when
Toms.
You called them the selfies,
Yeah.
which actually isn't a bad name. If you were Jana and Jason selfie, not bad.
Right?
Kind of cool. Kind of like social media moguls.
We are the Shelfer helpers.
The
That's
shelfer
what we
helpers.
are.
Here's the thing about local media, weathermen, us. We don't really care about anybody but ourselves. So when
Yeah, we don't bother to
when
learn.
we say anybody is our good friend, I wouldn't even do it to you. I was like, my good friends, Jana and Jason, and then I'm like, oh God, think of their last name. They don't really matter, don't really matter, don't really matter. And then you're like, shelfer. Shelfer.
I don't know why that happened. I was like, I'm not. You know what? Because while I'm saying it, my mind drifts
Why didn't
off.
you make me say
Yeah.
it? We just had a conversation about how I make you announce everybody's name, and that's just my own cowardness. Right?
I know
Your
Jana and
your
Jason's
brain
last name.
is 40, but your lips are.
I have young lips.
19,
You know, I
your lips
get,
are 40.
I get told all the time that my
My
lips
brain
are
is
the-
definitely older than 40.
I have 19-year-old lips, a 45-year-old body. That's
StartLivingLucky.com.
yes, got that right.
Yeah. And that's what I should have just said to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look
Anyway.
it up. Go see the selfies on Get Looking. Get Looking.
Oh, get looking.
The trifecta. You want the trifecta? I don't know if you can handle it.
So, speaking of your guys' show, I follow you on social media, and I saw you guys were riding 4-wheelers the other day.
You were jealous.
Well,
Fake news.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm like kind of a professional 4-wheel rider.
Professional. That means you're paid for it.
He pays for it all right.
No, you get paid for it.
Yeah. I mean, I get paid for a lot of things, so.
What are we finding out about you today?
Does this go back to the pop story?
So, I'll tell you a pop-up story, but it's about a hang glider. I'm sorry. Anyway, so where'd you guys go 4-wheel riding?
We went to
Revolution Off-Road out in Claremont.
yes.
So have you guys gone 4-wheel riding before? And I want to ask you, Jana, like, is there obviously you drive a car with your hand and hand controls, correct?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So does that would seemingly make you a better four-wheel rider, right?
Yeah,
because it's
absolutely.
all basically in the hands.
All in the hand.
Well, a lot of that is core as well, like just staying in the seat when you get hit when you hit a bump.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Pucker your butt when you said that.
Oh my
It
god.
was involuntary.
Yeah, I did mine too, and I learned something on Facebook today. You can't move your penis without moving your beehole.
Come on, stop.
Really?
Yeah, for guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
come on.
for ladies, I don't know how anything works.
Yeah, it's all the muscles are the
Yeah,
same. Yeah,
but the
yeah.
muscles are the same. And then I said, "That's not right." I went,
That's
and
what
I was
that
like, "It's right." I was like, "Oh my god!"
Easily proven.
When two become one.
So, what made you guys do this in the first place? Is it just part of your adventure lifestyle?
My values are adventure and fun, and those are like at the top of my value list. So we have to plan
but-
something every.
It was actually my birthday present.
Yeah. We needed some of that for our birthday.
He bought
That's
it
cool.
for my birthday, but it was actually something he wanted to do.
That's what Tom did with Jim Jeffries tickets. Yeah, Tom bought Jim Jeffries tickets for himself, and his wife tagged along for Valentine's Day. It was great.
Well, it's for Valentine's. Originally different. Anyway, so Jana, like, you had no interest in this when he told you about this.
Yeah, not your thing.
How did that work?
You know, I really would have rather had gone to the spa or
Yes.
maybe to a. Honestly, though, I did the same thing for his birthday. I took him to
Four-wheeler?
a really nice dinner, and he probably wanted to go on an adventure. So we did the same thing to each other.
Does
Yeah,
it
well,
make
hold on.
someone-
It's not the same thing. Let me argue for your point, Jana, because like he may have wanted to go on an adventure, but a really nice dinner. I don't think anybody's going to be like, I hate this. Like, like, who is going to be that now?
Yeah, it doesn't make you
four-wheel
sad.
riding though. You can definitely be like, I hate this. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because
that's
I
true.
don't think anybody can hate it.
well,
It
there
doesn't
is
even register for me how someone could hate it.
It's a land jet ski. You only get about 10 minutes of enjoyment out of it before you hit the peak, and then there's nothing else to do. It's you can go this speed or this speed, and that's it.
Yeah, it's dusty. It's shaking the hell out of
It's more
you.
than dusty.
Yeah.
It's like full out mud. It's mud and dirty, and
Yeah.
we got done. We took off our helmets, and we literally had dirt all over our.
Well, you're
And
doing
you
it
had dirt,
wrong.
you had dirt boogers, right? You get dirt boogers.
Hold on a second. You're doing it wrong. I hate to go this fast into y'all, but you're doing it wrong. Most of the rednecks that I see that have these monstrosity four-wheelers, they don't mud in them. They put these awesome, they put tires on them that you would have on a fancy car. They put a Yeti cooler on the back. They match the Yeti cooler to the paint job they have on their four-wheeler. They put a stereo on it. They Yeti the thing out. It's got cup holders. And then they get their hot girlfriend to wear a bikini, and then they just drive it out in the woods, and they sit on them and get drunk. That's it. They
do that in
don't
the villages too.
Yeah, they don't do nothing. Like what you're doing is actual, like you'd be working on a farm or something. People don't go out there and tear their four wheelers apart. It's a show off thing.
Well, the thing with the four-wheeler tours is it's kind of all the worst parts of four-wheeler riding.
Yeah.
Because you don't get to do whatever you want. You don't get to drink and drive,
Yeah,
which is
you're
part of
supposed
it.
to- yeah.
You don't?
No,
point is
because
to be-
they're licensed and insured, and then they make you they put governors on there, and you're driving we call them like brick S houses, like the hunting four-wheeler, the Polarises.
If it's got that plastic black rifle holder on it, don't even get on it. It sucks.
And then you're going down pretty flat roads so you don't kill yourself because the company has to pay so much insurance. They're never going to let you hey, go up that hill or jump that jump. They're never going to let anybody do that because they're going to hurt themselves. So you're going basically at a moderate speed down a flat dirt road of dust.
A medium pace for those of you that love Adam Sandler.
You're going at a medium pace with dust boogers.
Yeah.
And Jana 100% hated every second of it.
And I support her.
The bone breakage rate for the average recreational user versus the tour experience is very different, though. So there's something to be said about not having broken bones, not going to the hospital, and still.
Correct.
Of
Did you
course,
guys fall
because
off? Did you have any hijinks? Anything bad happen?
No.
Yeah, because they won't let you. They won't let you get hurt, and you're going at a medium pace down a flat, dusty road. I'm just telling you, that's what it is. You're not going out there hauling ass, like going through trails, hitting whoops.
Hitting whoops.
Like that 4-wheeler tour we did in Colorado was cool because they let us at least go max speed for a long time.
Because they gave us some crazy guy who's like, I don't care.
Yeah, you have to. The tour guide matters.
We had a guy that he was like, if you guys all look like you can ride, let's just give it a shot.
And if they let you do whatever and go as fast as you want,
you're right.
then it changes the whole experience.
But
then you're like, oh, this is awesome.
You and Crystal, they told me when me and Andrea got done with it, Crystal was like, well, that was good, but normally if we'd have done that would have been boring.
Yeah, because it's a medium pace down a flat, dusty road.
In fact, you just did a dune buggy one. Didn't you not like that one because you're like, we didn't get to do the
snowmobile tour.
Yes, that's what it
was way too expensive for. That was just medium pace, cold, no dust.
Yeah.
It's almost worse than dust.
I'd even take the dust. At least you're getting something. What else
we
you guys
did that once. Do you remember when we did that? We did that, and we lost our tour guide.
That was fun.
Lazy guide. How do you lose them?
in the snow? That's terrifying.
So where were you at?
We were in Colorado,
Breckenridge.
and I was supposed to be following him, and for some reason,
Jana was looking at the mirror, checking her face out.
I don't know, but I took a turn, and the group followed me, and the next thing you know, I was like
going off the edge of a cliff.
I was taking the group on the wrong path, and it was very snowy, and I didn't know what to do, so I was
you could stop. You could stop and regroup, but I guess that's not something.
You're supposed to stop.
I'm going the wrong way. I'm lost. Keep going straight as fast as you can.
I mean,
let's get as far away from where our instructor was as possible.
Got it, and lean back in case we go off a cliff. We'll get a nose. At least the nose will be pointed to the sun. Like why?
Just like 007.
It was really bad, and then I had one of those pride moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in front. Do I tell everybody that I'm lost and that I'm just going blindly in the snow and I don't know where I'm at?
You're a little more like Tom than you probably want to admit, I feel. That's like a Tom move. Tom would be like, I can figure it out.
Okay, well, let me ask you guys this.
New guy.
Because you guys are into adventures. So I feel like anytime...
Are you into adventures?
Well, yes. I love an adventure, especially with my sons. And that's my new thing.
You guys are forever adventuring.
If we don't do it because of lots of different reasons. Hey, listen, you fantasize about a lot of stuff you don't do.
I do nothing.
We all want to be better looking and all. Smarter. I want to learn Spanish. We're not doing any of it.
No chance.
We're just it's all fantasy.
Okay, back to the adventure with the boys.
Yes. So there's a huge business into excursions and all these things, right? Like 4-wheel renting, snowmobile, all this stuff. But because insurance is so crazy high, that they basically have to give you just a taste of what it would be like to have a true adventure, right? Because they put you in a medium pace and it's super safe and all the gear and they don't let you go too far and they're too fast and it's basically super controlled so no one hurts themselves.
Sure.
But I feel like a true adventure in life, there should be an element of
risk.
real danger and maybe even an element of death. Like,
oh, wow.
No, we say this all the time. We watch Bear Grylls.
Fake.
We watch that show. Do you watch that?
Fake. He's fake. We found out last week. We interviewed his arch enemy, Les Stroud, and Les Stroud said that when he is eating he's supposed to be eating a snake carcass in in the middle
Africa.
In Africa, it was Kentucky Fried Chicken the whole time. That guy's in there. He's eating the tater wedges with hot sauce.
He did squeeze the doo doo, though. I think that was.
Well, I squeezed my own doo doo, but that's because I'm a sick person.
So. But do you agree that
you squeeze your doo-doo? Okay.
There should be,
especially if you swallow somebody's wedding ring, which I've done twice.
Like, and it doesn't have to be that dangerous, obviously. But like when you go on these tours with like the insurance and everything, there's really almost zero chance that you get hurt or killed.
Well, I think what they're doing is dangerous. They're in a small camper traversing the world.
Well,
I think that's extremely dangerous.
That's more dangerous than the damn four-wheel
Yes,
tour,
it is.
And,
yes, it is.
And then so I like putting myself in a scenario where it's up to me and whoever I'm with to keep ourselves safe, and then but also like, hey, if you mess up or do this wrong way, like it could get dangerous.
So are you guys?
And that's an adventure to me. It's like there's a little bit of risk.
Are you going to continue
we've
to
done that before, and just some risk isn't worth it on a weekly basis.
Yes.
I don't know. We've gotten ourselves in some pretty stupid
Jamaica
situations.
was really bad.
We've told them that story.
Yeah.
Like our scuba diving stories. Those have been
been a little risky for me.
See, scuba diving.
You don't like the scuba. I didn't know you guys are, but we should all go scuba diving and teach Sam how to do it because she's
I
terrified.
have no interest. I have no
I
interest.
love scuba diving.
Yeah, but it will give you
I
grit,
usually have
and that's what
I got
Tom-
enough grit. I grew up with grit.
No, that's trauma. This is the grit. Grit
I
is
thought that's what his definition of grit was trauma.
Oh, it's starting to change now. I'm seeing the difference in what that actually means. But the scuba diving is a great point because there is a instructor. But if you mess up too much when you're 80 feet underwater, you're dead. And you can die scuba diving, although it's super safe.
What happened to you guys? What was so scary?
I just have panic attacks once I get below 60 feet or even around
yeah.
60 feet. It's I don't.
And we got dropped off without an instructor.
Yeah.
Oh, so
With nitrous tanks because they didn't have any of the regular kind.
Well, you got to be
We
certified at night.
We
You
aren't
can't just
nitrous certified.
No.
Wait a minute.
My husband's in the middle of the ocean and he's having a panic attack.
Oh my god, it's a
And
nightmare.
I'm having to walk him off the ledge, saying, "Honey, it's okay. We're just gonna go down." And we get underwater, and he literally started.
So I'm like this, and she's like, no.
I like that,
Wait
Jenna.
a minute. This
I
means
like that.
Thumbs up, I'm good. Yeah.
Or it does. Or no, this means okay.
Yeah,
Okay
yeah,
means
that means
That
something
also
else
means
now.
white power, too.
Like,
Oh,
he's like,
flashlight.
we're going up. I'm like,
Oh,
no,
hold on.
we're not.
I wonder if the
We're
scuba
down
diving.
here. We're okay. Like, cool it.
Yeah, and then she's so good at scuba diving, she follows me around, like shadowing me, and
Yeah.
I'm going, oh crap, I've just lost my wife scuba diving.
Yeah.
I'm going to be blamed for murdering
Yeah,
her.
because you know why? Because his fraternity brother was the one that killed his fiance
in Australia.
in Australia underwater on their honeymoon. You know that story that was on Dateline so many
That was
times?
Jason's fraternity brother.
Where they hold on a second,
Hold on.
everybody, calm down. Is this where they have the photo and you can see her dead in the background?
Yeah, like
Yes.
she's floating down.
Dude,
he's
that's
he's
the
a certified rescue diver, and she's just floating away, and he's like,
That was his fraternity brother.
Oh my
And so we're
God.
underwater, and I literally was just holding on to the back of his tank. That way, I didn't have to kick. I didn't have to try to swim and try to catch up with him. I was just holding on to the
and
back
I'm
of
just
his tank.
burning through air trying to find her.
my wife-
I can't find Gianna.
my
I can't
wi-
find her. I can't find her. I'm gonna get blamed for murder. And he's like freaking out, doing these backflips, and I'm going, "Oh my god, we're doing backflips underwater. It's like I'm able-bodied. This is like being a gymnast."
So hold on,
Man.
Jenna. I was going to ask you about scuba diving. So how,
Probably feels awesome.
well, but how do you? I mean, propel yourself without
Farts.
no.
She
Use
uses
the
a
fins
horse-
on your hands?
underwater horse and carriage system.
No, I've actually tried those
web gloves.
They have those little machines.
propellers.
The jet propellers.
Oh, you
I've
hold-
tried
yeah.
those. But I don't really like those. I've tried just swimming with my arms, but then I go through the oxygen really
Yeah.
quickly. And we've also rented those underwater scooters where you literally sit on a scooter and then you put your head under it's an oxygen tank.
Oh, so
Oh, I call those the Bahamian
Oxygen
death machines.
That's
Yeah,
how
I
the,
see
that's how
those.
the island people kill fat people. Is they put the fat people on the scooter and then they look at them die.
I don't like having my face dry underwater.
Me neither.
Like it's a weird.
I'm a wet everything kind of guy. Wet it all.
I don't like sticking my head through a bubble and then being underwater.
I don't want to get done
without a mouthpiece.
I get done. I got perfect Marge Simpson hair, but I'm soaking all the way down. I'm soaked.
So
That was actually a pretty amazing trip.
But it is kind of a weird sensation now that I think about that. You're right.
So-
You're right
But
on
it
that.
feels good. Like I'm not the best at. Like I'm good at conserving my air because when I get down there, I actually start to relax. Whereas my wife has the opposite. Andrea starts to suck air crazy.
I do too, yeah.
I actually am pretty efficient because there's a weird thing in my brain where if I'm underwater, I can't really. There's like it lowers my anxiety for some reason.
Okay.
So I suck less air. It's case by case for everybody, but yeah,
I
it's
used
cool.
to get home from work and put my scuba gear on and just lay at the bottom of the pool.
A lot of people do that. In fact, my old instructor sleeps in his pool. He has to set a timer.
well, that's insane.
Well, he's an insane. He sleeps upside down.
That's adventure.
No. Because I used to come home from work and my husband would be in at the time we had like this mini pool. It was like a 3-foot
It was a
pool.
spool.
It was a spool. And I would come home and my husband would be in his scuba gear laying in our
Nude.
spool.
I like that. That's what a king does.
That's weird.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm married
leave
to a
him alone.
weirdo.
I support you, Jason. I think that's fun.
Well, it's not weird. It's not perfectly normal. That's for sure.
Okay.
Like it's somewhere between perfectly normal.
That's true.
And extremely weird. And I tend to believe it's closer
It's
to
not
the extremely weird.
weird. It's
It is.
relaxing. I mean, you
I
have.
like to ride the line.
Yeah, he has scuba equipment and he has a body of water he can scuba dive in.
So, 2 questions about scuba diving, then we'll move on. One is, Jason, did you find out your fraternity,
how'd you
on
find
the
that
news
out?
that you're like, oh my God, it's
him.
Freddie
just
Fartface or
watch a
whatever
Dateline
you
and you're like, oh my God. That's him. University of, yep.
Alabama. I'll say it. Ramajama, Yellowhammer, give them hell, Alabama.
Yeah.
Also, not even like in a fit of rage or like some jealous rage or like something you murdered your wife. Like, this is a calculated move where you turned off her air underwater, which is the most psychopath thing I could think of.
But I
to
don't
do.
feel bad about it because I did it with my elbow. If I'd have done it with my hand, there'd be a better connect in my brain. But since I did it with my elbow, I can claim accident.